They told her it was an honor. They lied. The iron collar bit into Lily's throat with every breath. She didn't fight it anymore. Fighting only made the chains rattle louder, and the warriors escorting her had made it clear on the first day noise meant punishment. So she learned silence. Learned to keep her eyes down as the transport wagon rocked over the mountain pass. Learned to ignore the way her wrists bled beneath the silver-lined cuffs. Learned to pretend she couldn't hear the guards placing bets on how long she'd last. 3 days, one of them said, voice low but not low enough. I heard the last one didn't make it past the welcoming ceremony. Nah, this one's different. What did they call her? Broken wolf? She won't even shift. King'll probably just. Shut it, the lead guard snapped. We deliver her alive. What happens after ain't our business. Lily closed her eyes and let the darkness take her. It was easier than remembering. Easier than seeing her mother's face 3 nights ago, hollow and resolved, as she'd entered Lily's room with the Pax executioner. Easier than hearing her father's voice. The Alpha King has demanded a life. We have no choice. But they did have a choice. They chose Daisy. No, they chose to save Daisy. And Lily was the price. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing amazing today, seriously. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. Are you team early morning listen or late night wind down? Either way, I'm so glad you're here. Now, before we dive into this story, and trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit that button, turn on notifications, because the twists in this one? Chef's kiss. You'll want to be here for every upload. Alright, let's get back to Lily, because her life is about to change in ways no one saw coming. The wagon stopped. Lily's heart lurched. She forced her eyes open, blinking against the late afternoon sun that streamed through the barred window. Outside, she could hear movement, boots on gravel, low voices, the distant howl of wolves that made her skin prickle. The Alpha King's territory. She'd heard the stories. Everyone had. The king was ancient, powerful, and utterly without mercy. His pack was the largest in the northern continent, his word was law, and his justice was swift. Alphas who defied him disappeared. Packs who insulted him were wiped from the maps. And sacrifices? They never came back. The door to the wagon swung open, flooding the space with light. Lily flinched, turning her face away as rough hands grabbed her arms and hauled her out. Her legs buckled. 3 days in chains had left her weak, but the guards didn't care. They dragged her forward, boots scraping over stone as they pulled her toward the massive gates of the king's stronghold. It was bigger than she'd imagined. The outer walls were obsidian black, towering 50 feet high and carved with ancient runes that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Beyond the gates, she could see the sprawl of the territory, stone buildings, training grounds, forests thick with shadow. And at the center of it all, rising like a monument to power itself, was the Alpha King's Hall. Lily's breath caught. She was going to die here. The guards stopped at the base of the hall steps. One of them, a scarred man with cold eyes, yanked her forward and forced her to her knees on the stone. The impact sent pain shooting up her legs, but she bit down on her tongue, refusing to cry out. Stay, he ordered, as if she were a dog. Then they left. Lily knelt there, trembling as the sun dipped lower and the shadows grew long. Around her, she could feel eyes watching, pack members lingering near the hall, whispering, judging. She caught fragments of their words. Another one? Looks half dead already. Why does he even bother? Shame burned through her chest, hot and acidic. This was what she'd become. Not a daughter. Not a pack member. A sacrifice. Her wolf stirred faintly in the back of her mind, weak, fragmented, barely there. It had always been that way. While other wolves in her pack had shifted for the first time at 13, Lily's wolf had never fully emerged. She could feel it, sense it, but it remained locked away, incomplete. Her father had called her broken. Her mother had called her a burden. Daisy had called her Nothing. Because Daisy never looked at her long enough to call her anything. Lily's throat tightened. She wouldn't cry. Not here. Not now. The doors to the hall opened. The sound was like thunder, deep, resonant, final. Lily's head snapped up despite herself, and her breath stopped. He stood at the top of the steps. The Alpha King. Even from a distance, his presence was overwhelming. Tall, broad-shouldered, moving with a predator's grace that made every instinct in her body scream run. His hair was dark, almost black, and his eyes. Lily's heart stopped. His eyes were gold. Pure, molten gold. And they were locked on her. The world seemed to tilt. Sound faded. The whispers of the pack, the rustle of wind through the trees, even her own heartbeat, all of it disappeared as the Alpha King descended the steps. Slowly. Deliberately. He didn't look away. Not once. Lily's chains suddenly felt heavier. The collar around her throat seemed to tighten. She wanted to lower her gaze, to show submission, but she couldn't. Something in those golden eyes held her frozen, pinned, seen in a way she'd never been seen before. He stopped 3 feet away. Up close, he was even more devastating. Power radiated from him in waves, thick and suffocating, the kind of dominance that made alphas kneel and wolves bare their throats. His jaw was sharp, his expression unreadable, and when he spoke, his voice was low and edged with something she couldn't name. Who sent you? Lily's mouth was dry. And my pack. Crescent Falls. Why? She swallowed, the collar biting deeper. You demanded a life. For peace. His gaze didn't waver. And they sent you. It wasn't a question. Shame flooded through her again, but she forced herself to nod. Yes, Alpha King. Silence. Then, so quietly she almost missed it, your name. Lily, she whispered. Something flickered in his eyes, something sharp and raw and almost pleased. But it was gone before she could be sure. He took a step closer, and Lily's wolf suddenly surged, throwing itself against the fragile walls of her mind with a desperation she'd never felt. Mate. No, that wasn't possible. Stand, the Alpha King said. Lily tried. Her legs shook, weak from days of confinement, and she barely made it halfway before her knees buckled again. She braced for the impact, but it never came. Strong hands caught her, steadying her, and Lily gasped as warmth flooded through her body. The Alpha King had moved faster than she could track, and now he was touching her, his hands firm on her arms, his scent cedar and smoke, and something wild wrapping around her like a living thing. Their eyes met. And Lily saw it. Recognition. Not surprise. Not confusion. Recognition. He'd known. Take off her chains, the Alpha King said, his voice cutting through the stunned silence of the crowd. The guards hesitated. Alpha King, the protocols. Now. They scrambled to obey. The silver cuffs fell away first, clattering to the ground, and Lily hissed as blood rushed back into her wrists. Then the collar. The guard fumbled with the lock, and when it finally released, Lily dragged in a full breath for the first time in days. The Alpha King's gaze never left her face. You are not a sacrifice, he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Lily's heart pounded. I don't understand. His lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. You're my Luna. The world exploded into chaos. What do you think? Did you see that coming? Drop a comment and let me know your theories, because trust me, this is only the beginning. And if you're loving this already, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. This story is about to get wild. Now, shall we see what Lily does next? The declaration hung in the air like a blade. You're my Luna. Lily's mind went blank. Around her, the gathered pack erupted gasps, shouts, the scrape of boots on stone as wolves shifted their weight, uncertain whether to kneel or challenge. But none of it reached her. She stood frozen, the Alpha King's hands still steadying her, his golden eyes burning into hers with an intensity that made her wolf claw frantically at the surface. Mate. No, Lily breathed. The Alpha King's expression didn't change. No, I'm not, her voice cracked. She tried to step back, but her legs wouldn't cooperate. I can't be your Luna. I'm broken. My wolf doesn't even. Your wolf is awake right now. Lily froze. He was right. She could feel it, her wolf, stronger than it had ever been, pushing against the barriers that had held it prisoner for years. It wasn't fully emerged, not yet, but it was there. Present. Furious. Ours, her wolf snarled. He is Ourus. This is a mistake, Lily whispered, even as something deep in her chest pulled tight, anchoring her to the man in front of her. My pack wouldn't have sent me if I was. Your pack, the Alpha King interrupted, his voice dropping to something dangerously soft, sent you here in chains. Colored. Bleeding. His jaw tightened. Tell me, Lily. Do you believe they knew what you were? She wanted to say yes. Wanted to believe her parents had made a terrible mistake, that they'd never have sacrificed her if they'd known she was destined to be a Luna. But the memory of her mother's hollow eyes rose in her mind, and the words died in her throat. They'd known she was different. They just hadn't cared enough to find out why. Alpha King Zane. The voice cut through the tension like ice. Lily's gaze snapped to the side, where a tall woman with silver-streaked hair and sharp features stood at the base of the steps. She wore the deep green robes of a high-ranking wolf, and her expression was carefully neutral. The Alpha King, Zane, Lily's mind supplied, didn't look away from Lily. Counselor Mara. Forgive the interruption, Mara said smoothly, though her eyes flicked to Lily with something that might have been calculation. But the pack is unsettled. Perhaps this discussion would be better held in private. The pack will settle, Zane said flatly. Of course. Mara's smile was thin. But traditions exist for a reason. A Luna must be tested, verified. The elders will want to convene, and the protocols. The protocols, Zane said, his voice cutting like a whip, were written for wolves who came willingly. Not ones delivered as sacrifices. He finally turned his head, pinning Mara with a look that made the older woman take an involuntary step back. She bears my mark already. The bond recognized her the moment she crossed into my territory. There will be no tests. Lily's breath caught. Mark. Zane's gaze returned to her, and this time there was something almost gentle in it. He released one of her arms and lifted his hand slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he brushed his fingers against the left side of her neck, just below her ear. Heat flared under his touch. Lily gasped, her hand flying up to cover the spot. Beneath her palm, she could feel it, a faint, raised pattern that hadn't been there before. It didn't hurt. Instead, it hummed with warmth, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. How? The mate bond, Zane said quietly. It marks what belongs to it. Belongs. The word should have terrified her. Should have made her run. But instead, Lily felt something inside her shift and settle, as if a piece she hadn't known was missing had finally clicked into place. I don't understand, she whispered. If you knew I was your mate, why did you let them send me here like this? Why didn't you? Because, Zane said, and now there was an edge of something dark in his voice, if I had come for you before they revealed their true nature, you would never have believed me when I told you what they were. Lily's stomach dropped. What do you mean? He studied her for a long moment, and she had the unsettling sense that he was measuring how much truth she could handle. Finally, he said, your pack has been on the edge of rebellion for years. They refused tithes, ignored territorial boundaries, sheltered rogues. When I sent word that the disrespect would cost them a life, I knew exactly what they would do. You knew they would send me? I knew they would send the wolf they valued least. His eyes hardened. I did not know that wolf would be you until the bond confirmed it. But I suspected. Lily's knees threatened to give out again. You used me as bait. I gave them a chance to do the right thing, Zane corrected. They failed. The words hit like a physical blow. Lily's hands clenched at her sides, her nails biting into her palms. He was right, gods, he was right, and that somehow made it worse. Her pack had failed her. Her parents had failed her. They'd thrown her away to save the daughter they actually loved. Why Daisy? The question tore out of her before she could stop it. Why did they choose to save my sister and not me? Zane's expression softened, just slightly. You'll have to ask them that yourself. I can't. Lily's voice broke. They made it very clear I'm not welcome back. You were never going back. The certainty in his voice made her look up sharply. Zane took a step closer, and this time Lily didn't retreat. She couldn't. The pull between them was too strong, the bond singing in her veins like a drug. You are my Luna, Zane said, and the words resonated with alpha command, making every wolf in earshot drop their eyes in submission. This is your pack now. Your territory. Your home. He paused, then added more softly, if you'll have it. If she'll have it. As if she had a choice. As if she could walk away from the one person who'd looked at her and seen something worth claiming. Lily's throat tightened. I don't know how to be a Luna. Then I'll teach you. I can't even shift properly. Your wolf is stronger than you think. It's been suppressed. Zane's gaze darkened. Deliberately, I suspect. Lily's blood ran cold. What? We'll discuss it later. Zane glanced over his shoulder at the still-watching pack, then back at Lily. Right now, you need food, rest, and healing. Mara. I'll prepare the Luna's quarters, Mara said quickly, though her tone suggested she wasn't thrilled about it. No, Zane's voice was firm. She stays in my quarters. Where I can protect her. Mara's eyes widened. Alpha King, that's highly irregular. The bonding ceremony hasn't even. She stays with me. Each word was punctuated with alpha dominance that made even Lily's weak wolf whimper in submission. Is that clear? Mara bowed her head stiffly. Crystal, Alpha King. Zane turned back to Lily, and his expression gentled again, a shift so sudden it made her dizzy. Can you walk? Honestly? Lily wasn't sure. Her legs felt like water, her head was spinning, and the bond between them was pulling so insistently that she could barely think straight. But she nodded anyway. I think so. Good. Zane offered her his arm. Then let's get you inside. Lily hesitated for only a moment before slipping her hand into the crook of his elbow. The contact sent another wave of warmth through her, and her wolf practically purred. As Zane led her up the steps and into the hall, Lily caught fragments of whispers from the watching pack. Came in chains and left as Luna. Think she's really his mate? Crescent Falls is going to pay for this. That last one made Lily's stomach twist. She thought of her parents. Her sister. The pack she'd grown up in. Would Zane really punish them? And, more importantly, did she want him to? Inside, the hall was even more magnificent than she'd imagined. High ceilings carved with wolf motifs, tapestries depicting ancient battles, a massive fireplace crackling with flames that cast dancing shadows across the stone. But Lily barely saw any of it. She was too focused on putting one foot in front of the other, on not collapsing in front of the dozens of pack members who'd followed them inside. Zane guided her through the main hall and down a corridor lined with torches. Guards stood at attention as they passed, their faces carefully blank. Finally, Zane stopped in front of a heavy wooden door carved with runes similar to the ones on the outer walls. These are my quarters, he said, pushing the door open. For now, they're yours too. Lily stepped inside and stopped. The room was not what she'd expected. She'd imagined something cold, brutal, fit for a king who broke sacrifices. Instead, she found warmth. Furs covered a massive bed, bookshelves lined one wall, and a window looked out over the forest beyond. It was lived in. Personal. Safe. There's a bathing room through there, Zane said, nodding to a door on the left. And I'll have food brought up. You need to eat. Lily nodded mutely, still trying to process everything. Zane moved to the fireplace and added wood to the flames, his movements efficient and practiced. For a moment, they stood in silence. Then, Lily. She turned. Zane was watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. I know this is overwhelming, he said quietly. I know you're scared and confused, and probably wondering if this is some elaborate trap. Lily's throat tightened. Is it? No, he crossed the room in 3 strides and stopped in front of her, close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. I've waited a long time for you. And now that you're here, I will do everything in my power to make sure you're safe, protected, and happy. But he paused, and something vulnerable flickered across his face. I need you to choose this. Choose me. Choose this pack. I won't force a bond on you, no matter what fate says we're meant to be. Lily stared at him, her heart pounding. You're giving me a choice. Always. Even though I'm already marked? Even then. Gods. When was the last time someone had given her a choice about anything? Tears burned at the back of her eyes, but Lily blinked them away. I don't know what I'm choosing yet, she admitted. I need time. You have it, Zane said immediately. Take all the time you need. And my pack? Crescent Falls. His expression hardened. That's a separate matter. They broke sacred law by sending you here the way they did. There will be consequences. Please. The word escaped before Lily could stop it. Whatever you do, don't hurt Daisy. She didn't know. She's innocent. Zane studied her for a long moment. Your sister is that important to you? Even after they chose her over you. She's my sister. Something in Zane's expression shifted, softened. I'll take that into account, he said finally. But I make no promises beyond that. It would have to be enough. A knock sounded at the door. Zane called for entry, and a young woman entered carrying a tray of food. She set it on the table near the window, bowed to Zane, and left without a word. Eat, Zane said, gesturing to the tray. Then rest. We'll talk more tomorrow. Where will you sleep? Lily asked, suddenly realizing the problem. Zane's lips quirked. There's a couch. I'll manage. But, Lily. He met her eyes. I told you. You choose. That includes when or if you want me in that bed with you. Heat flooded her face. She looked away quickly, her heart racing for entirely new reasons. Thank you, she whispered. Always, Zane said again. And as Lily finally let herself sink into a chair and reached for the food, real food, not the scraps she'd been given during transport, she felt something unfamiliar bloom in her chest. Hope. Can you believe this? Zane is literally giving her choices after everything she's been through. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. Is he too good to be true, or is this the alpha king we all needed? Lily woke to sunlight streaming through the window and the disorienting sensation of softness. For a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it all came rushing back, the transport, the chains, the Alpha King's golden eyes. You're my Luna. She sat up slowly, her body protesting. Every muscle ached from days of confinement, but the pain was distant, muted by the fact that she'd slept in an actual bed for the first time in weeks. The room was empty. Zane's scent lingered cedar and smoke, but the couch where he'd supposedly slept showed no signs of use. Had he even stayed? Or had he spent the night elsewhere, giving her space? Lily pushed back the furs and stood, her bare feet sinking into thick rugs. Someone had left clothes folded on a chair near the bathing room, soft leather pants, a tunic in deep green, and boots that looked like they might actually fit. She grabbed them and disappeared into the bathing room. The sight of the large copper tub made her want to weep. She filled it with water heated by some mechanism she didn't understand and sank in with a groan of relief. The water stung the raw skin around her wrists and throat, but she didn't care. For the first time in days, she felt almost human, almost whole. As she scrubbed away the grime and blood, her fingers kept drifting to the mark on her neck. It was more visible now, a delicate pattern that resembled intertwined wolves, their forms so intricate they seemed to move in the light. The Luna mark. Proof that everything Zane had said was true. She was his mate. His Luna. The thought should have terrified her. Instead, it felt like an anchor. Something solid in a world that had turned upside down. You're being stupid, she told herself firmly. You don't even know him. But her wolf disagreed. Her wolf knew exactly who he was, and it wanted him with a ferocity that made Lily's hands shake. She finished bathing and dressed quickly. The clothes fit perfectly, hugging her curves in a way that made her feel both exposed and powerful. When she emerged from the bathing room, she found Zane standing near the window, his back to her. He'd changed too. Gone were the formal robes from yesterday. Now he wore simple black pants and a fitted shirt that did absolutely nothing to hide the powerful lines of his body. His dark hair was slightly damp, as if he'd bathed elsewhere. "You're awake," he said without turning. "How did you know?" "Your heartbeat changed." He glanced over his shoulder, and his eyes darkened as he took in her appearance. "The clothes fit." "Yes, thank you." Lily shifted her weight, suddenly self-conscious. "Did you sleep?" "Enough." He turned to face her fully. "How do you feel?" Honestly, Lily wasn't sure. Her body felt better fed, clean, rested. But her mind was a chaos of emotions she couldn't untangle. Confused, she admitted. Overwhelmed. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up, and this will all be some fever dream." Zane's expression softened. "It's real." "I know." She took a breath. "What happens now?" "Now," Zane said, "I introduce you to the pack properly. And we begin your training." "Training? You're a Luna, Lily. That comes with responsibilities and power." He moved toward her slowly, as if approaching a skittish animal. "But first, I need to tell you something about your wolf." Dread coiled in her stomach. "What about it?" "Come here." Lily's feet moved before her brain could catch up. She crossed the room until she was standing directly in front of him, close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body. Zane reached out and placed one hand against her chest, directly over her heart. "Close your eyes," he said softly. "Why?" "Trust me." The word hung between them. Trust. Something Lily had stopped giving freely a long time ago. But something in Zane's voice, something honest and raw, made her obey. She closed her eyes. "Now," Zane said, "I want you to find your wolf. Not the fragment you've been feeling. The whole thing. I've tried that before. It doesn't. Because something is blocking it." His thumb pressed gently against her sternum. "Something artificial." Lily's eyes snapped open. "What?" Zane's jaw was tight. "Someone put a suppression charm on you. Probably when you were young, before your first shift. It's been strangling your wolf ever since." The room tilted. "That's not possible. My parents would never." But even as she said it, doubt crept in. Her parents had always treated her differently. Always looked at her like she was a disappointment. And her wolf had never emerged, not properly, despite every indication that it should have. "Can you remove it?" she whispered. "Yes, but it's going to hurt." "I don't care." The words came out fierce. "Do it." Zane studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. "Lie down on the bed." Lily did as he asked, her heart pounding. Zane knelt beside the bed and placed both hands on her chest. His eyes began to glow, not just gold now, but burning with an inner light that made her wolf surge in response. "This is going to feel like fire," he warned. "Don't fight it." Before Lily could respond, heat exploded through her chest. She screamed. It felt like someone had shoved molten metal into her veins. The pain was everywhere, burning, tearing, breaking something that had been lodged inside her for years. Lily's back arched off the bed, her hands clawing at the furs, her wolf howling in a mixture of agony and rage. "Stay with me." Zane's voice cut through the pain. "I've almost got it." Lily couldn't answer, couldn't breathe. The fire was consuming her from the inside out, and for a horrible moment, she was certain she was dying. Then something snapped. The pain vanished instantly, replaced by a rush of power so intense it stole her breath. Lily gasped, her eyes flying open, and the world suddenly looked different. Sharper. Clearer. She could hear everything, the guards talking 3 floors down, the wind in the trees outside, the rapid beat of Zane's heart. And her wolf. Oh gods, her wolf. It rose up inside her like a tidal wave, strong and whole and absolutely furious. Lily felt her bones begin to shift, felt the unfamiliar pull of transformation, and panic seized her. Zane, let it happen, he said firmly. Don't fight it. Lily didn't have a choice. The shift took her whether she was ready or not. Pain exploded through her body, but this was different from before. This was natural. Right. Her bones reformed, her muscles stretched, rippled across her skin. She fell off the bed and landed on 4 legs, gasping. She'd shifted. For the first time in her life, she'd shifted. Lily looked down at her paws, white as snow, tipped with silver claws, and felt something break open in her chest. Her wolf was beautiful. Larger than she'd expected, powerful, with eyes that she somehow knew were the pale blue of a winter sky. She raised her head and found Zane watching her with an expression of pure awe. There you are, he said softly. Lily's wolf preened under his attention, tail wagging despite the overwhelming nature of everything happening. She took a tentative step forward, testing her new body. It felt incredible. Like she'd been wearing shackles her whole life and had finally broken free. Can you shift back? Zane asked. Lily focused, and the shift reversed more easily than she'd expected. Within seconds, she was kneeling on the floor in human form, naked except for the sheet Zane had thrown over her with supernatural speed. I shifted, she breathed, wrapping the sheet around herself. I actually shifted. You did. Zane crouched in front of her, his eyes still glowing faintly. And your wolf is magnificent. Tears burned Lily's eyes. Why would someone suppress her? Why would they? The door burst open. Lily's head snapped up as Counselor Mara strode in, her expression urgent. Behind her, 2 guards stood at attention. Alpha King, Mara said, her voice tight. We have a situation. Zane was on his feet instantly, his body shifting into a protective stance between Lily and the door. What situation? A delegation from Crescent Falls has arrived at our borders. Mara's eyes flicked to Lily, something calculating in her gaze. They're demanding the return of their pack member. Lily's blood turned to ice. They claim, Mara continued, that the sacrifice was made under false pretenses. That the girl sent was not authorized by pack law, and that her younger sister, the Alpha's true daughter, should have been the one offered. The room went silent. Lily couldn't breathe. Her parents were here. They'd come for her, but not to save her. To trade her. To take her back and send Daisy in her place. No, she whispered. Zane's hands clenched into fists. How many? 15 wolves. Led by Alpha Marcus and his mate, Helena. Mara paused. And the sister. Daisy. Lily's heart stopped. Daisy was here. Tell them, Zane said, his voice dropping to something deadly, that Lily is no longer a member of Crescent Falls. She is my Luna, and she stays. They won't accept that without proof, Mara said. They're already arguing that the bond is fabricated, that you've coerced her. Then they can see for themselves. Zane turned to Lily, his expression softening. If you're ready. Was she ready? To face her parents? To see Daisy? No. Gods, no. But she didn't have a choice. I'll go, Lily said, forcing herself to stand despite her shaking legs. But I need clothes first. 10 minutes later, Lily stood at Zane's side as they descended the main steps of the hall. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Ahead, gathered at the base of the steps, stood 15 wolves from her former pack. And at the front, her mother. Helena looked exactly as Lily remembered. Tall, elegant, with dark hair swept into a perfect knot and eyes that could freeze fire. Beside her stood Marcus, Lily's father, his alpha aura pressing against the space around him. And between them, Daisy. She looked terrified. Lily, Helena said, and hearing her mother's voice after everything felt like a knife to the chest. Thank the goddess you're alive. The concern in her voice would have sounded genuine to anyone who didn't know better. Lily did know better. Why are you here? Lily asked, pleased when her voice came out steady. To bring you home, of course. Helena took a step forward, but Zane's growl stopped her cold. She glanced at the Alpha King, then back at Lily. Sweetheart, there's been a terrible mistake. Your father and we didn't know the Alpha King would actually accept the sacrifice. We thought he was testing us, that if we showed willingness, he'd refuse and demand something else. Lies. All lies. You put her in chains, Zane said, his voice cutting. You collared her with silver. Protocol, Marcus said quickly. We were following ancient tradition. We never intended. You intended to throw her away, Zane interrupted. And now that you've discovered she's my Luna, you want her back. So you can control her. Use her. Helena's expression hardened. With respect, Alpha King, you cannot know she's truly your Luna after only one day. The bond requires time to show them, Zane said to Lily. Lily hesitated only a moment before pulling aside the collar of her tunic. The Luna mark blazed against her skin, visible to every wolf present. Gasps rippled through the Crescent Falls delegation. Daisy's face went white. No, Helena breathed. No, that's not possible. Lily doesn't even have a wolf. She can't be. I do have a wolf, Lily said, and the strength in her voice surprised even her. I've always had one. You just made sure I couldn't reach her. Marcus's face went carefully blank. What are you talking about? The suppression charm. Lily took a step forward, her wolf rising to support her. Someone put it on me when I was young. Someone who didn't want me to shift. Who didn't want me to be strong. She looked directly at her mother. It was you, wasn't it? The silence that followed was deafening. Helena's mask slipped, just for a second, and Lily saw the truth written across her face. Guilt. Fear. Confirmation. You suppressed my wolf, Lily said, her voice shaking now. You crippled me. Why? Lily, Marcus started. Why? The word came out as a roar, amplified by alpha command that Lily hadn't known she possessed. Every wolf in the clearing except Zane dropped their eyes in submission, including her parents. Including Daisy. Because, Helena said finally, her voice brittle, the prophecy said the eldest would bring destruction to the pack. The world stopped. What prophecy? Zane demanded. Helena's hands clenched at her sides. 23 years ago, the Oracle visited Crescent Falls. She said that Marcus's firstborn would either lead the pack to greatness or bring about its complete destruction. We couldn't risk it. So her voice broke. We suppressed Lily's wolf. Made her weak. Made sure she could never claim power. And when the Alpha King demanded a sacrifice, Zane said softly, you saw your chance to get rid of her permanently. We were protecting Daisy. Helena's eyes flashed. We were protecting the pack. You were protecting yourselves, Lily said. The pieces were clicking into place now, each one more devastating than the last. You knew I was meant for something. You just didn't want it to be anything that would threaten your perfect life with your perfect daughter. Daisy flinched as if struck. Lily, her sister said, speaking for the first time. Her voice was small. Broken. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know any of this. Lily wanted to believe her. Gods, she wanted to so badly. But trust was a luxury she could no longer afford. It doesn't matter now, Lily said. She turned to Zane. They can go. I'm not going with them. Lily, please, Marcus started. You are no longer my alpha, Lily said, and the words felt like cutting chains. You have no authority over me. And if you ever set foot in this territory again uninvited, the Alpha King will have every right to consider it an act of war. Marcus's face reddened. You would threaten your own pack? You stopped being my pack the moment you put me in chains. Zane's hand found hers, his fingers lacing through hers in silent support. The contact sent warmth flooding through her, steadying her. Leave, Zane said. His voice carried the weight of absolute command. Now, before I decide that delivering my mate as a sacrifice warrants more than just exile. The Crescent Falls wolves began to back away, all except Daisy. She stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered. Lily, I'm so sorry. Lily's throat tightened. I know. And she did. She could see it in Daisy's eyes. Her sister genuinely hadn't known. But that didn't change what had happened. Didn't erase the betrayal. Go home, Daisy, Lily said softly. Be safe. Daisy nodded, then turned and fled. As the delegation disappeared into the forest, Lily felt something inside her chest break and reform simultaneously. Her old life was gone. Burned away. But maybe that was okay. Maybe it was time for something new. You did well, Zane said quietly. Lily looked up at him, at this man who'd known what she was before she did. What happens now? Zane's eyes gleamed. Now, we make you a Luna in truth. He squeezed her hand. And we make sure every pack in the territory knows what happens when someone tries to harm what's mine. A shiver ran down Lily's spine, but not from fear. From anticipation. The training grounds were unlike anything Lily had ever seen. Sprawling across the eastern edge of the territory, the space was a combination of open fields, obstacle courses, and sparring rings carved directly into the earth. Dozens of wolves were already training when Zane led her through the gates at dawn, some in human form practicing with weapons, others shifted and engaged in what looked like carefully controlled combat. Every single one of them stopped when they noticed her. Ignore them, Zane murmured, his hand resting at the small of her back. They're curious. It's natural. They're judging me, Lily corrected, feeling the weight of dozens of eyes tracking her movement. Wondering if I'm good enough to be their Luna. Then show them you are. Easier said than done. Lily's wolf might be free now, but she had 2 decades of weakness to overcome. 2 decades of being told she was broken, useless, less than. That kind of damage didn't heal overnight. Zane guided her to a private section of the training grounds, separated from the main area by a line of ancient oak trees. A woman waited there, tall and muscular, with short black hair and scars that tracked across her arms like badges of honor. Lily, Zane said, this is Kara, my head warrior. She'll be overseeing your combat training. Kara's dark eyes assessed Lily with an intensity that made her want to shrink back. But she forced herself to meet the warrior's gaze steadily. Alpha King, Kara said, her voice rough. With respect, I'm not sure I'm the right choice for this. The Luna needs someone who won't coddle her, Zane interrupted. Someone who'll push her to be as strong as she's capable of being. That's you. Kara's lips twitched. You want me to train her like I'd train any other wolf? Exactly like that. Even though she's only just learned to shift? Especially because of that. Kara studied Lily again, and this time there was something like approval in her expression. All right then. Let's see what we're working with. She gestured to the open space. Shift for me. Lily's stomach clenched. She'd only shifted twice now, once when Zane broke the suppression, and once more that morning to make sure she could still do it. The transformation was getting easier, but it was far from natural. Still, she closed her eyes and reached for her wolf. The shift came faster this time. Her bones reformed with sharp cracks, fur rippled across her skin, and within seconds she stood on 4 legs, her white coat gleaming in the early morning light. Goddess, Kara breathed. She's a silver wolf. Lily's head snapped toward Zane. Silver? Rare, Zane explained, though his voice carried an edge of pride. Silver wolves appear once every few generations. They're usually alpha-born, meant for leadership. His eyes met Lily's wolf form. Your parents must have been terrified when they realized what you were. That actually made a horrible kind of sense. If Lily was meant to be an alpha, if her wolf was powerful enough to threaten their carefully constructed hierarchy, of course they would have suppressed her. Of course they would have chosen Daisy, sweet, compliant Daisy who would never challenge their authority. Kara circled Lily slowly, examining her from every angle. Good bone structure. Strong hindquarters. You'll be fast once you build up your endurance. She stopped in front of Lily. Shift back. Lily obeyed, the transformation leaving her slightly winded. Zane immediately draped a robe over her shoulders. Apparently he'd been prepared for this. Your wolf is impressive, Kara said bluntly. But right now you're weak. No muscle memory, no combat instincts, no idea how to use your body as a weapon. She crossed her arms. We're going to fix that. It won't be easy, and it won't be comfortable. Can you handle that? Lily lifted her chin. Yes. We'll see. Kara gestured to Zane. You can go, Alpha King. I'll have her back by midday. Zane hesitated, his eyes finding Lily's. You're certain? I'm certain, Lily said, more confidently than she felt. He studied her face for a moment longer, then nodded. If you need me, just call. The bond will let me hear you. The bond. Right. That was still something Lily was getting used to, the constant awareness of Zane's presence in the back of her mind, the way she could sense his emotions if she focused hard enough. After Zane left, Kara wasted no time. We'll start with basics. Your balance is off, probably from years of favoring your human form. We need to retrain your muscle memory. She pointed to a series of wooden posts driven into the ground at varying heights. Shift and run through those. Don't knock any over. It looked simple. It wasn't. Lily shifted and started through the posts, but her new body didn't respond the way her mind expected. She clipped the second post with her shoulder, sending it wobbling. The third one she knocked over completely. By the fifth attempt, frustration was making her sloppy. Again, Kara barked. Lily's wolf growled but obeyed. They ran the course 12 times before Lily managed to clear it without touching a single post. By then, her muscles were screaming and her lungs burned. Better, Kara said. Now we work on combat. The next 3 hours were brutal. Kara taught her how to use her claws effectively, how to protect her throat in a fight, how to read an opponent's body language. They sparred Kara in her wolf form, a massive brown beast with intelligent amber eyes, and Lily lost every single round. But she got back up every single time. You've got spirit, Kara said when they finally broke for water. Both of them had shifted back, and Lily was trying not to collapse. Most wolves would have quit after the first hour. I can't afford to quit, Lily said between gasps. Too many people are waiting for me to fail. Kara's expression softened slightly. The pack will come around. They just need time to see what you're made of. And what if I'm not made of the right stuff? Then you wouldn't have survived what your old pack did to you. Kara handed her a water skin. Drink. We're not done yet. They spent the rest of the morning working on Lily's human combat skills, hand-to-hand, basic weapons, defensive techniques. By the time Kara finally called a halt, Lily could barely stand. Same time tomorrow, Kara said. And Lily? You did good today. The praise, unexpected and genuine, made something warm bloom in Lily's chest. Zane was waiting when Lily limped back to his quarters. He took one look at her exhausted face and immediately guided her to a chair. How bad? He asked. I'll survive. Lily winced as she sat down. Kara doesn't believe in taking it easy. No, she doesn't. Zane knelt in front of her and began unlacing her boots. The gesture was so casual, so domestic, that Lily's breath caught. You don't have to. I want to. He slipped off one boot, then the other, his hands gentle despite their strength. You pushed yourself today. Let me take care of you. Lily's throat tightened. When was the last time someone had taken care of her? Actually cared whether she was hurting? There's a council meeting this afternoon, Zane said, moving to massage her aching feet. Lily had to bite back a moan of relief. The senior members want to meet you formally. Discuss your role as Luna. Will Counselor Mara be there? Yes. Zane's jaw tightened. She's been resistant to your presence. She doesn't think I'm worthy. She doesn't know you yet. His golden eyes met hers. But she will. They all will. The meeting was scheduled for 2 hours later, which gave Lily just enough time to bathe and change into something more appropriate than her training clothes. Zane had left more outfits in the wardrobe, all in rich colors that complemented her pale skin and dark hair. She chose a deep burgundy dress that was elegant without being ostentatious. When she emerged, Zane was waiting in his formal robes, black trimmed with gold, the symbol of his pack embroidered across his chest. He looked every inch the Alpha King, and she was supposed to stand beside him as his equal. Terror threatened to swallow her whole. "Breathe," Zane said, crossing to her. He cupped her face in his hands, his thumb brushing across her cheekbone. "You belong here, Lily. Never doubt that." "I don't know how to be a Luna," she whispered. "Then we'll figure it out together." He pressed his forehead to hers, and the bond between them pulsed with warmth. "I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm just asking you to be yourself." Herself. As if Lily even knew who that was anymore. But she nodded anyway. The council chamber was circular, with a high-domed ceiling painted with constellations. A massive table dominated the center, and seated around it were 12 wolves, the senior members of Zane's pack. Counselor Mara sat at the far end, her expression carefully neutral. Conversation died the moment Lily entered. "Council," Zane said, his voice carrying the weight of command. "Allow me to formally introduce Lily, my mate, and your Luna." 11 of the council members bowed their heads in respect. Mara didn't. "Alpha King," she said smoothly, "while we appreciate the urgency of your bond, there are protocols that must be observed. A Luna cannot simply be declared. She must be tested, proven, accepted by the pack." "The bond has already proven her," Zane said, an edge creeping into his voice. "The bond proves compatibility, not capability." Mara's eyes flicked to Lily. No offense intended, but the girl was raised in a pack that saw fit to sacrifice her. She has no training, no experience with leadership, and by all accounts, her wolf was dormant until days ago. "How can we trust her to lead beside you?" Murmurs rippled through the council. Lily's hands clenched under the table. Every word was true. Every doubt was justified. She wasn't ready for this. But then she felt it, Zane's presence in her mind, steady and certain. "You're stronger than you know." Lily lifted her chin. "You're right, counselor. I wasn't raised to be a Luna. I was raised to be invisible." She met Mara's eyes. "But I learned other things. I learned how to survive when everyone wanted me to disappear. I learned how to endure pain without breaking. I learned that power doesn't always look like strength. Sometimes it looks like refusing to give up when giving up would be easier." She stood, and her wolf rose with her, lending her strength. "I don't know how to lead a pack yet," Lily continued. "But I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to work harder than anyone else in this room to prove I deserve to stand beside your Alpha King. And if that's not enough for you," she let her eyes sweep across the council, "then test me. Give me your trials. I'll face whatever you throw at me." Silence. Then, from the other end of the table, an older man with silver hair and kind eyes began to smile. "Well said, young Luna." He looked at Mara. "I, for one, vote to accept her." "Seconded," another council member said quickly. "Thirded." One by one, votes of acceptance rippled around the table. When it came to Mara, the counselor's expression was unreadable. "I abstain," she said finally. "For now. Not acceptance. But not rejection either." Lily would take it. "Then it's settled," Zane said, satisfaction clear in his voice. "Lily is recognized as Luna by this council. The formal bonding ceremony will take place at the next full moon." He glanced at Lily. "If she's ready." The full moon was 2 weeks away. 14 days to prepare for a ceremony that would bind her to Zane permanently. 14 days to prove she deserved this. "I'll be ready," Lily said. That night, Lily stood at the window of Zane's quarters, staring out at the forest beyond. Behind her, she could hear Zane moving around the room, preparing for bed. They'd fallen into an easy routine over the past few days. He took the couch, she took the bed, and they carefully maintained a respectful distance, despite the bond screaming at them to get closer. But tonight felt different. Tonight, the space between them felt like a chasm. "Lily." She turned to find Zane watching her, his expression soft in the firelight. "Come here," he said quietly. Her feet moved before she could overthink it. She crossed the room and stopped in front of him, her heart pounding. You were magnificent today, Zane said. In training. In the council meeting. I've never been more proud. I was terrified the entire time. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. His hand came up to cup her face, and Lily leaned into the touch without thinking. You're going to be an incredible Luna. I don't feel incredible, Lily admitted. I feel like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not. Then stop pretending. Zane's thumb traced her lower lip, and heat flooded through her. Be exactly who you are. That's all I've ever wanted. The bond pulled tight between them, and suddenly the distance felt unbearable. Lily's breath hitched as Zane leaned closer, his eyes dropping to her mouth. Tell me to stop, he murmured, and I will. But Lily didn't want him to stop. For the first time in days, maybe in her life, she wanted to stop thinking and just feel. Don't stop, she whispered. Zane's control snapped. His mouth claimed hers in a kiss that was both gentle and devastating. Lily gasped against his lips, her hands fisting in his shirt as the bond exploded between them. Fire raced through her veins. Her wolf howled in triumph. Every nerve ending came alive. This was what she'd been missing. This was home. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Zane rested his forehead against hers. Lily. A howl shattered the night. Not just any howl. An alarm. Zane's head snapped up, his body going rigid. Stay here. What's happening? I don't know. He was already moving toward the door. But another howl. Then another. The sound of running feet in the corridor outside. Someone pounded on the door. Alpha King. We're under attack. Lily's blood turned to ice. Attack? Zane yanked open the door. A young guard stood there, face pale. Who? Rogues, sir. At least 50 of them. They breached the eastern border. The guard's eyes flicked to Lily. And they're asking for the Luna. The room went silent. What? Lily breathed. They say, the guard swallowed hard. They say they've come to take back what was stolen. That the false Luna must answer for her crimes. Zane's eyes blazed gold. Get Kara. Mobilize the warriors. No one touches her. Yes, Alpha King. As the guard fled, Zane turned to Lily. The look on his face made her stomach drop. This isn't random, he said quietly. Someone sent them. Someone who knew exactly where you'd be. Lily's mind raced. My pack. You think Crescent Falls. I think, Zane interrupted, his voice deadly soft, that someone doesn't want you to become Luna. And they're willing to start a war to prevent it. From somewhere in the distance, the sounds of battle began to echo through the night. And Lily realized with sickening clarity that this was just the beginning. Hold on, did that just happen? Rogues are attacking and they want Lily. Someone is definitely pulling strings behind the scenes. Who do you think sent them? Crescent Falls? Counselor Mara? Someone else entirely? Drop your theories in the comments. I need to know what you're thinking. The sounds of battle grew louder, snarls, howls, the clash of bodies colliding in the darkness. Lily's wolf surged forward, desperate to fight, but Zane's hand on her arm held her in place. You're not going out there, he said firmly. They came for me. Lily's voice rose. I can't just hide while your pack fights my battle. You're not ready. I don't care. She yanked her arm free, her eyes flashing. I won't be the Luna who cowers in a tower while wolves die for her. If I'm going to lead this pack, they need to see that I'll stand with them. Zane's jaw clenched. For a moment, she thought he'd argue. Then his expression shifted, pride mixing with concern. You stay by my side. You don't engage unless I give the order. Understood. Understood. And Lily? His hand cupped her face, fierce and gentle at once. If anything happens to me, you run. Promise me. Zane. Promise me. The desperation in his voice broke something in her chest. I promise. He kissed her hard and fast, then grabbed her hand. Let's go. They burst out of the quarters and into controlled chaos. Warriors were streaming toward the eastern border, some already shifted, others running on 2 legs with weapons drawn. Kara appeared at their side immediately, her face grim. 50 rogues, maybe more, she reported as they ran. They hit the patrol line hard and fast. We've got casualties. How many? Zane demanded. 3 dead. 7 injured. Kara's expression darkened. And Alpha King? They're organized. This isn't a random raid, someone's commanding them. They reached the eastern border within minutes. The scene that greeted them was carnage. Bodies littered the ground, both rogues and pack members. The air stank of blood and death. And at the center of it all, a massive fight raged. Zane's warriors were holding the line, but barely. The rogues fought with a viciousness that spoke of desperation or madness. Or both. Formation Delta. Zane roared, his alpha command rolling across the battlefield. His pack responded instantly, warriors shifting positions with military precision. Then Zane shifted. Lily had seen him in wolf form before, but never like this. He was enormous, easily twice the size of a normal alpha, with fur as black as midnight and those burning gold eyes. Power radiated from him in waves that made even the rogues hesitate. He launched into the battle like a force of nature. Luna. Kara grabbed Lily's shoulder. Stay behind the line. If any get through. She didn't finish. 3 rogues broke through the defensive line, their eyes locked on Lily with disturbing focus. Lily's wolf exploded to the surface. The shift came faster than ever before, fueled by adrenaline and fury. She met the first rogue head-on, using the techniques Kara had drilled into her that morning. Dodge, slash, protect the throat. The rogue was bigger, stronger, but Lily was faster. Her claws found his shoulder, ripping deep. The rogue howled and retreated. The second one was smarter. It circled her, looking for an opening. Lily's heart pounded, but she forced herself to stay calm. Read the body language. Anticipate the attack. It lunged. Lily twisted aside and caught it across the ribs. Not a killing blow, but enough to make it think twice. The third rogue didn't attack. It spoke. The false Luna, it rasped, its voice distorted by its wolf form. You don't belong here. Lily's blood ran cold. Rogues didn't talk during battle. Rogues barely formed coherent thoughts. But this one's eyes were clear. Intelligent. Controlled. Who sent you? Lily demanded. The rogue's lips pulled back in a grotesque smile. Someone who knows what you really are. Someone who knows the prophecy. Before Lily could respond, a massive black shape slammed into the rogue from the side. Zane. He'd broken away from the main battle, and now he stood over the rogue with his jaws locked around its throat. Don't kill it. Lily shifted back to human form, ignoring her nakedness. Zane, we need answers. Zane hesitated, then released the rogue. It collapsed, gasping. Around them, the battle was turning. The rogues were retreating, dragging their wounded with them. Within minutes, the eastern border fell silent except for the groans of the injured. Zane shifted back, and someone immediately threw him pants. His eyes never left the rogue at his feet. Who sent you? The rogue laughed, a wet, horrible sound. You think I'll betray them? You think I fear you more than I fear. Its words cut off in a gurgle. Blood poured from its mouth, and its eyes went wide with shock. Poison, Kara said grimly, kneeling beside the body. Embedded tooth. It triggered when it tried to talk. Lily's stomach turned. Someone sent them on a suicide mission. Not just someone. Zane's expression was thunderous. Someone with resources. Someone who could organize this many rogues and ensure their silence. His eyes met hers. Someone inside our world who wants you gone. The aftermath of the battle was a blur. Lily helped tend to the wounded, her newly awakened healing instincts guiding her hands as she cleaned wounds and offered comfort. The pack members' initial wariness of her melted away as they saw her working beside them, covered in blood and dirt, refusing to rest until every injured wolf was stabilized. You should be resting, Zane said when he found her in the healing ward hours later. So should you. Lily didn't look up from the bandage she was wrapping around a young warrior's arm. How many did we lose? 5. The pain in his voice made her glance up. 5 good wolves. Because someone wants you dead. Guilt crashed over her. Zane, this isn't your fault. He crossed to her, his hand gripping her chin gently but firmly. Do you understand me? This is not your fault. But it was. Somehow it was. These wolves had died because she existed, because she was meant to be Luna, because someone saw her as a threat. We need to talk, Zane said quietly. Privately. He led her back to his quarters, where someone had already lit the fire and laid out clean clothes. Lily changed quickly, her mind racing. When she emerged from the bathing room, Zane was standing by the window, his shoulders tense. Tell me about the prophecy, Lily said. Zane turned. What prophecy? The one the rogue mentioned. The one my mother talked about. Lily moved closer. You know something, don't you? For a long moment, Zane didn't speak. Then, 3 years ago, I received a vision from the oracle. She told me that my Luna would come to me broken, betrayed by those who should have loved her. She said the Luna would be marked by prophecy, destined to either unite the packs or destroy them all. Lily's breath caught. Destroy them. The oracle's visions aren't always clear. She said your power would be immense, but unstable. That depending on your choices, you could become the greatest Luna our world has ever seen. He paused. Or the catalyst that brings about the Second Great War. The room spun. And you claimed me anyway? Knowing I might? I claimed you because I believe in you. Zane closed the distance between them. I've seen your heart, Lily. Your strength. Your compassion. Yes, you have the power to destroy, but you also have the power to heal, to unite, to transform everything. What if you're wrong? Lily whispered. What if I'm the destruction the prophecy warned about? Then we'll face it together. His hands framed her face. But I don't believe you are. Do you know why? She shook her head. Because the oracle said one more thing. She said the true test would come when the Luna had to choose between vengeance and mercy. Between destruction and forgiveness. His golden eyes bore into hers. And I've already seen you make that choice. When your pack came for you, you could have demanded their destruction. Instead, you protected your sister. You showed mercy. That was different. It was everything. Zane's thumb brushed away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. You are not your prophecy, Lily. You are your choices. The words settled something inside her. But they didn't answer the bigger question. If you knew about the prophecy, Lily said slowly, then other people might know too. People who would want to stop it from coming true. Exactly what I was thinking. Zane's expression hardened. The question is who? And how much do they know? A knock at the door interrupted them. Kara entered without waiting for permission, her face urgent. We have a problem, she said. The dead rogues, we've been identifying them. Alpha King, one of them was from the Silverstone pack. Zane went very still. Marcus Silverstone? His nephew. Lily's heart stopped. The Silverstone pack was one of the most powerful in the region, second only to Zane's. If they were involved in the attack. It could be a coincidence, Kara said, though her tone suggested she didn't believe it. The nephew might have gone rogue independently. Or Silverstone is making a move. Zane's hands clenched into fists. He's always resented my authority. If he thought he could destabilize my pack by eliminating my Luna. We don't have proof, Lily interjected. We can't accuse another Alpha without evidence. She's right, Kara said reluctantly. But Alpha King, there's more. One of the injured rogues is stable enough to question. I thought you'd want to be there when we... Yes. Zane was already moving toward the door. He glanced back at Lily. Stay here. I'm coming with you. Lily. I'm coming with you. She lifted her chin. They came for me. I deserve answers. Zane studied her face, then nodded sharply. Stay close. The prisoner was being held in a reinforced cell beneath the main hall. When they entered, Lily's wolf immediately bristled. The rogue was a woman, young, probably close to Lily's age, with matted brown hair and wild eyes. But those eyes cleared when she saw Lily. You, the rogue breathed. The silver wolf. Who are you? Zane demanded. The rogue's laugh was bitter. I'm no one. Just another pawn in their game. Whose game? The ones who want to control the prophecy. The rogue's gaze never left Lily. They're terrified of you. Of what you represent. Who are they? Lily pressed. I don't know names. I just know they have power. Influence. They've been planning this for years, ever since the Oracle first spoke of the Luna who would change everything. The rogue leaned forward as much as her chains would allow. But they made a mistake. They thought suppressing your wolf would be enough. They didn't count on the Alpha King finding you anyway. Ice flooded Lily's veins. My parents. Were they part of this? I don't know. The rogue's expression softened slightly. Maybe. Or maybe they were just pawns too, manipulated by wolves with bigger plans. Why tell us this? Zane asked suspiciously. Why betray whoever sent you? The rogue's smile was sad. Because I'm already dead. The poison's in my system, slower than the others, but it's there. I've got maybe a day before it reaches my heart. She looked at Lily again. I've done terrible things. Hurt innocent people. But before they found me, before they turned me into this. I had a sister too. And if I could save her by telling you the truth, I would. Tears burned Lily's eyes. There's a gathering, the rogue continued. 3 days from now at the Hollow Grounds. All the alphas who oppose your rise will be there. They're planning something big. That's all I know. The Hollow Grounds, Zane repeated, his voice deadly soft. That's neutral territory. Which means they can meet without breaking pack law, Kara finished. Alpha King, this could be a trap. Or it could be our chance to identify who's behind this. Zane looked at the rogue. Is there anything else? The rogue hesitated. Just, watch your back, Luna. Not everyone in your own pack is loyal. Someone inside is feeding information to your enemies. The words hit like a physical blow. A traitor. Inside Zane's pack. Who? Lily demanded. I don't know. I swear I don't know. The rogue slumped back. I've told you everything I can. As they left the cell, Lily's mind reeled. A conspiracy. A gathering of hostile alphas. A traitor in their midst. And at the center of it all her. The Luna who was either salvation or destruction. We go to the Hollow Grounds, Zane said as they climbed the stairs. But we go prepared. And the traitor? We root them out. His eyes flashed gold. No one threatens my Luna and lives. Later, as Lily tried to sleep, she couldn't shake the rogue's words. Not everyone in your own pack is loyal. Who? Counselor Mara, who'd been opposed to Lily from the start. One of the council members? Or someone closer? Someone she'd started to trust? She was still awake when Zane slipped into bed beside her. You're supposed to be on the couch, she murmured. The couch is too far away tonight. His arms wrapped around her, pulling her against his chest. I need to know you're safe. Lily should have protested. Should have maintained the boundaries they'd carefully constructed. Instead, she turned in his arms and buried her face against his neck, breathing in his scent. I'm scared, she admitted. I know. His hand stroked through her hair. But Lily? I meant what I said. We face this together. Whatever comes, we face it together. She lifted her head to look at him, and the tenderness in his eyes nearly undid her. Zane. He kissed her. Slow and deep and full of promise. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, he rested his forehead against hers. At the next full moon, he said quietly, I'm going to ask you to complete the mate bond. To become my Luna in truth. No more waiting, no more distance. His eyes searched hers. Will you say yes? Lily's heart thundered. The mate bond. The final step. It would tie them together permanently, irrevocably. It would make her Luna in a way that no one could deny. Ask me again when the full moon rises, she whispered. And I'll give you my answer. But they both already knew what that answer would be. The 3 days before the gathering passed in a blur of preparation and paranoia. Lily threw herself into training with Kara, pushing her body past its limits. She needed to be ready, not just physically, but mentally. Every spar, every drill, every moment of pain was another step toward becoming the Luna this pack needed. But the shadow of the traitor hung over everything. Zane had quietly begun investigating his inner circle, watching for any sign of betrayal. Counselor Mara remained his primary suspect, but there was no proof. And without proof, they couldn't act. On the morning of the gathering, Lily stood before the mirror in Zane's quarters, barely recognizing the woman staring back at her. Gone was the broken girl who'd arrived in chains. In her place stood someone harder, sharper, someone who looked like she could be a Luna. "You ready?" Zane's voice came from behind her. Lily turned. He was dressed in formal black, his authority evident in every line of his body. But his eyes were soft as they traced her face. "No," Lily admitted. "But I'll go anyway. That's my girl." He crossed to her and pressed something into her hand. A silver dagger, small enough to conceal, but deadly sharp. "Just in case." Lily tucked it into the hidden sheath at her thigh. "You think it'll come to that?" "I think we should be prepared for anything." They were taking a small contingent: Zane, Lily, Kara, and 4 elite warriors. The Hollow Grounds were technically neutral territory, which meant weapons were forbidden and violence would violate ancient law. But as Zane had grimly pointed out, their enemies had already shown they didn't care about laws. The journey took most of the day. The Hollow Grounds were located deep in unclaimed territory, a massive clearing surrounded by ancient stones that hummed with old magic. By the time they arrived, the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of blood and gold. Other packs were already there. Lily's stomach clenched as she recognized the banners. Silverstone Pack, Ironwood, Nightshade. At least 6 other powerful packs, all led by alphas who had reason to resist Zane's authority. And there, standing among them with cold satisfaction on her face, Counselor Mara. "Son of a bitch," Kara breathed. "She's the traitor." But Zane didn't look surprised. "I suspected," he said quietly. "I just needed to be sure." Mara's eyes met theirs across the clearing. She didn't look ashamed. She looked triumphant. "Alpha King Zane," a voice called out. A massive man with silver-streaked hair stepped forward, Marcus Silverstone, the Alpha Zane had mentioned. "How kind of you to join us." "Silverstone." Zane's voice was ice. "This gathering is illegal. You're in violation of territorial accords." "This is neutral ground," Silverstone countered. "We're simply discussing matters of mutual concern, such as the prophecy you've been trying to hide." Silverstone's gaze shifted to Lily, and she fought not to shrink under the weight of his assessment. "The Luna who will either unite us or destroy us all. Did you really think we wouldn't find out?" "The prophecy is none of your concern," Zane said flatly. "It's every pack's concern when you claim a Luna who might bring about the Second Great War." This came from another alpha, a woman with ice-blonde hair. "You're gambling with all our futures, Zane." "I'm claiming my mate," Zane corrected. "As is my right." "Your right?" Silverstone laughed. "You speak of rights while hoarding power? You've held the Alpha King position for 30 years, Zane. 30 years of unchallenged rule. Maybe it's time for a change." Lily's blood ran cold. This wasn't just about her. This was a coup. "You want my position," Zane said softly. "Is that it?" "We want balance," the blonde alpha said. "A council of alphas sharing power equally. No more kings. No more single points of failure." Her eyes cut to Lily. "And no more dangerous prophecies waiting to explode." "You can't stop the prophecy," Lily said, her voice cutting through the tension. All eyes turned to her. "Killing me won't change what's already been set in motion." "We're not going to kill you," Silverstone said, and his smile made her skin crawl. "We're going to offer you a choice." From the gathered alphas, 2 figures emerged. Lily's heart stopped. Her parents. Marcus and Helena walked forward, their faces carefully composed. But Lily could see the calculation in her mother's eyes, the ambition in her father's stance. "Mom?" Lily's voice cracked despite herself. "Dad? What are you doing here?" "Protecting you," Helena said, though the words rang hollow. Sweetheart, you're in over your head. You weren't raised for this. You're not strong enough to be Luna to the most powerful pack in the continent. But Daisy is, Marcus added. We made a mistake sending you first. But we can correct it. Lily couldn't breathe. What? The bond can be broken, Silverstone said. If both parties agree, if the Luna mark is removed before the full bonding ceremony, it's painful, but survivable. You step down, return to your family, and your sister takes your place as Zane's Luna. You're insane, Kara snarled. We're practical, the blonde alpha corrected. Daisy was raised to be a Luna. Trained, educated, prepared. She doesn't carry the burden of prophecy. And with her as Luna, Zane maintains his mate, just a safer, more stable version. Everyone wins. Except Lily. Except the bond screaming in her chest, the wolf howling in rage, the connection to Zane that had become as vital as breathing. No, Lily said. Lily, please, Helena started. I said no. The word exploded out of her with alpha command she hadn't known she possessed. Around the clearing, wolves dropped to their knees involuntarily. Even some of the alphas swayed. I am Zane's mate. His true mate. You can't substitute my sister like I'm a broken piece of furniture. Can't we? Silverstone's smile widened. Tell me, little Luna, what happens if we take that choice away from you? He raised his hand. And from the trees, dozens of wolves emerged. Rogues, judging by their scent. But these were different from the ones who'd attacked before. These moved with military precision, surrounding Zane's small group in seconds. This is an ambush, Zane said, his voice deadly calm even as his body tensed for attack. You're breaking ancient law, Silverstone. Laws can be rewritten. Silverstone's hand dropped. Seize them. Everything happened at once. Zane shifted, his massive black form erupting with killing fury. Kara and the warriors followed suit. But they were outnumbered 10-1, and the rogues had clearly been trained. Lily reached for her wolf. And nothing happened. Panic seized her. She tried again, pushing harder, but it was like hitting a wall. Her wolf was there, she could feel it, but something was blocking the shift. Surprise, Mara said, appearing at Lily's side. The older woman held up a small vial. Wolfsbane vapor. Inhaled it when you arrived. Won't kill you, but it'll keep your wolf locked down for the next few hours. Before Lily could react, Mara grabbed her arm. The counselor was stronger than she looked, her grip like iron. Zane! Lily screamed. Zane's head whipped around. When he saw Mara holding Lily, his roar shook the entire clearing. He tore through 3 rogues like they were paper, fighting his way toward her. But Silverstone was ready. The massive alpha shifted and slammed into Zane from the side, and the 2 titans went down in a tangle of claws and fury. Bring the girl, Silverstone's voice commanded. Mara dragged Lily toward the trees. Lily fought, kicking and clawing, but without her wolf, she was just human. Just weak. Stop struggling, Mara hissed. This is for your own good. You don't understand what you are, what you could become. Lily's hand found the dagger at her thigh. She drove it into Mara's shoulder. The counselor screamed and released her. Lily stumbled back, gasping, the bloody dagger clutched in her hand. You little bitch, Mara lunged. A white wolf exploded from the shadows and hit Mara like a freight train. Lily blinked. It took her a moment to recognize the wolf, smaller than Lily's wolf would be, with light brown patches on her ears. Daisy. Her sister had shifted and was now standing between Lily and Mara, teeth bared in a snarl Lily had never seen on her gentle sister's face. Daisy? Lily breathed. What are you doing here? Her sister shifted back, naked and trembling, but standing firm. I'm saving you, you idiot. But Mom and Dad said. Mom and Dad are liars. Daisy's voice cracked. They've been planning this for weeks. They told me about the prophecy, about their alliance with Silverstone. They said you needed to be removed for everyone's safety. Tears streamed down her face. I didn't understand what that meant until today. Until I realized they were going to let you die. Lily's world tilted. Daisy, I won't let them hurt you. Daisy grabbed Lily's hand. I won't be the Luna they want me to be. I won't take what's yours. You're my sister. Something in Lily's chest cracked open. All this time, she'd thought Daisy was the favored one. The loved one. But maybe Daisy had been a prisoner too. Just in a different kind of cage. We need to get you out of here, Daisy said urgently. Can you shift? Wolfsbane, Lily managed. Mara poisoned me. Daisy's eyes widened in horror. Then we run. Now. They ran. Behind them, the battle raged. Lily could hear Zane's roars, Kara's battle cries, the sounds of wolves dying. Every instinct screamed at her to go back, to fight beside her mate. But without her wolf, she was a liability. Daisy pulled her through the forest, moving with surprising speed. There's a safe house, she gasped. 2 miles east. Zane's pack uses it for. An arrow whistled through the air. It caught Daisy in the shoulder, spinning her around. She went down hard, crying out in pain. No. Lily dropped beside her sister, trying to staunch the bleeding. But it was bad, the arrow had gone deep. Footsteps approached. Heavy. Confident. Lily looked up to find her father standing there, a bow in his hands. Dad? Her voice broke. You shot Daisy? Marcus's face was stone. She chose her side. Just as you've chosen yours. She's your daughter. She was my asset. Marcus knocked another arrow. Both of you were. But assets that become liabilities must be eliminated. Lily couldn't process it. Couldn't understand how the man who'd raised her, who'd taught her to read, who'd carried her on his shoulders when she was small, could stand there and calmly discuss murdering his children. You're insane, Lily whispered. I'm pragmatic. Marcus aimed the arrow at her heart. The prophecy says you'll either unite the packs or destroy them. I'm making sure it's neither. With you gone, with Silverstone as the new Alpha King, we can finally have the power we deserve. We. Lily's mind raced. You and Mom. And half the Alphas in this region. Marcus smiled. Did you really think Silverstone was the mastermind? He's just the muscle. I've been building this alliance for years, waiting for the right moment. When your wolf didn't emerge, I thought I'd failed. Then the Alpha King demanded a sacrifice, and I saw my chance. Send you to die, consolidate power, wait for the inevitable chaos. But I didn't die. No, you didn't. His finger tightened on the bowstring. My mistake. One I'm about to correct. Lily closed her eyes. This was it. The end. She'd been so close to happiness, to purpose, to finally understanding who she was meant to be. And now she'd die in the dirt, killed by her own father. A roar shook the forest. Lily's eyes snapped open just as a massive black shape burst from the trees. Zane, bloody, battered, but alive, hit Marcus like an avalanche. The bow went flying. Marcus shifted, but he was no match for the Alpha King's fury. Within seconds, it was over. Marcus lay broken on the ground, his wolf form barely breathing. Zane stood over him, murder in his eyes. Zane, Lily called weakly. Don't. Please. Zane's head turned to her, and the anguish in his expression nearly broke her. He shifted back, crossing to her in 3 strides. Lily. God's Lily. I'm okay. She wasn't. Nothing was okay. But she was alive. Daisy needs help. The arrow. I've got her. Kara appeared, already tending to Daisy's wound. The warrior's face was grim. It's bad, but she'll live. The others? Zane asked. Dead or scattered. Silverstone retreated when you came for Lily. The rogues followed. Kara's eyes were hard. But Alpha King, we lost 4 warriors. For more deaths. Because of her. Lily's vision blurred. The adrenaline was fading, leaving behind only pain and exhaustion and the crushing weight of everything that had happened. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. No, Zane gathered her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. You have nothing to apologize for. This is on them. All of them. My father is a traitor and a would-be murderer. Zane's voice was ice. He'll be tried under pack law. They all will. In the distance, Lily could hear more wolves approaching. Reinforcements, she hoped. Not more enemies. She was so tired. Lily. Zane tilted her face up to his. Stay with me. Just stay with me. I'm not going anywhere, she managed. Where would I go? His laugh was broken. That's my Luna. But as darkness crept in at the edges of her vision, Lily couldn't help but wonder. Was she? Was she really strong enough to be his Luna? Because right now, she just felt broken all over again. Lily woke to whiteness. For a confused moment, she thought she'd died. Then pain registered dull and distant, but present, and she realized she was in a bed. A healing ward, judging by the smell of herbs and the soft sounds of movement nearby. Easy. Zane's voice, rough with exhaustion. His hand found hers. You're safe. You're in my territory, in the healing ward. Lily's eyes focused on him. He looked like he'd been through hell, bruises darkening his jaw, bandages wrapped around his ribs. But he was there. Solid. Real. Daisy, she croaked. Alive. Healing. The arrow missed anything vital. Zane's grip tightened. She saved your life, Lily. Stood between you and Mara even though she knew what it would cost her. Tears burned Lily's eyes. Where is she? 2 rooms over. She's been asking for you. And my parents? Zane's expression went hard. In custody. Your father will stand trial for treason, attempted murder, and conspiracy. Your mother as well. We found evidence she was part of the planning from the start. It should have hurt more. Should have devastated her. But Lily just felt numb. What about Silverstone? The other alphas? Silverstone fled to his territory. He's fortifying, preparing for retaliation. Zane's jaw clenched. The others scattered. But this isn't over, Lily. They made their move and failed, but they'll try again. Then we'll be ready. The words came out stronger than she felt. Will. No, Zane's voice was firm. I need to tell you something. And you're not going to like it. Dread coiled in her stomach. What? The full moon is tomorrow night. His golden eyes met hers. And I can't ask you to complete the bond. Not now. Not after everything you've been through. Lily's heart stopped. What are you saying? I'm saying you should go home. Back to, he stopped himself. Somewhere safe. Away from me. Away from this pack. Away from the prophecy and the politics and the wolves who want you dead. No. Lily. No. She tried to sit up, ignoring the pain. You don't get to make this decision for me. You promised me a choice, Zane. You promised. And I'm giving you one. You're trying to push me away. Tears were flowing now, hot and angry. After everything we've been through, after I've fought and bled and almost died for this pack, you want me to just walk away? I want you to be safe. Zane's control cracked. Do you understand what they'll do if you stay? They'll keep coming for you. They'll never stop. And I can't, his voice broke. I can't watch you die, Lily. I can't watch them destroy you. Understanding crashed over her. This wasn't rejection. It was fear. Lily reached up and cupped his face in her hands, forcing him to look at her. I'm not leaving. I'm not running. And tomorrow night, when the moon rises, you're going to ask me to complete the bond. Her voice was steady now. Strong. And I'm going to say yes. Lily, I'm not the broken girl who arrived in chains anymore, she continued. I'm not the sacrifice everyone wanted me to be. I'm your mate. Your Luna. And I choose you, Zane. I choose this pack. I choose this fight. No matter what it costs. For a long moment, Zane just stared at her. Then, slowly, he smiled, a real smile that made him look years younger. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. He kissed her then, deep and desperate, and Lily felt the bond between them flare to life, stronger than ever, burning away the darkness and fear and doubt. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Zane rested his forehead against hers. Tomorrow night, he whispered. Tomorrow night, Lily agreed. Whatever darkness lay ahead. They'd face it together. Oh my God. Her own father tried to kill her. The day before the full moon dawned cold and clear. Lily stood at the window of Zane's quarters, watching the territory wake. Below, pack members moved through their morning routines, warriors heading to training, mothers corralling children, elders gathering near the central fire. A normal day on the surface. But tension crackled through the air like electricity before a storm. Everyone knew what tomorrow night meant. The bonding ceremony. The moment Lily would officially become Luna, irrevocably tied to Zane and this pack. The moment she'd become the prophecy made flesh. You should eat. Zane emerged from the bathing room, already dressed for the day. You barely touched dinner last night. I'm not hungry. Lily turned to face him. I need to see Daisy. I'll take you. Zane crossed to her, his hand finding her waist naturally. The casual intimacy still made her heart skip. But Lily, don't expect miracles. Your sister is healing, but she's traumatized. What your parents did, what they tried to make her. I know. Lily leaned into his touch. But she stood between me and death. The least I can do is be there for her now. They found Daisy in the healing ward, sitting up in bed and staring out the window with hollow eyes. She looked smaller than Lily remembered, fragile in a way that had nothing to do with the bandages wrapped around her shoulder. Daisy? Lily said softly. Her sister's head turned, and for a moment, Lily saw a flicker of the girl she'd known. Then it was gone, replaced by something harder. You came, Daisy said. Not quite a question. Of course I came. Lily moved to the bedside, hyper-aware of Zane standing guard by the door. How are you feeling? Like I got shot by my own father. The bitterness in Daisy's voice was jarring. How are you supposed to feel after that? Lily had no answer. She sat on the edge of the bed, and after a moment's hesitation, took Daisy's hand. Thank you. For saving me. For choosing. Don't. Daisy pulled her hand away. Don't thank me. I should have done it sooner. Should have stopped them months ago when they first started planning. You knew? For months. I suspected. Daisy's eyes filled with tears. They kept having secret meetings. Talking in hushed voices that would stop when I entered a room. I wanted to think it was pack business. That I was imagining things. Her voice broke. But deep down I knew. And I did nothing. You were scared. I was a coward. The words exploded out of her. You were my sister, and I let them sacrifice you. I let them put you in chains and send you away to die, and I did nothing. Daisy. I should have been the one they sent, Daisy continued, tears streaming down her face now. I'm the one they trained to be Luna. I'm the one who's supposed to be strong and brave, and she choked on a sob. But when it mattered, you were the strong one. You survived. You became everything they were afraid you'd be. Lily's throat tightened. All this time, she'd envied Daisy. Resented her. But her sister had been trapped in her own kind of cage, one built from expectations and manipulation, and the crushing weight of being the perfect daughter. It wasn't your fault, Lily said firmly. What they did, that's on them, not you. But I could have stopped it. No, you couldn't have. Lily grabbed Daisy's hand again, holding tight even when her sister tried to pull away. They're our parents, Daisy. We're supposed to trust them, to believe they have our best interests at heart. How were you supposed to know they'd become monsters? Daisy's sobs intensified. Lily pulled her sister into her arms, careful of the wounded shoulder, and just held her. All the years of distance, of jealousy and resentment, seemed to dissolve in that moment. They were just two sisters who'd survived their parents' betrayal. What happens now? Daisy asked when she finally pulled back, wiping at her eyes. To them? To me? Lily glanced at Zane. He moved closer, his expression gentler than she'd ever seen it. Your parents will stand trial, he said quietly. Pack law is clear on treason and attempted murder. The sentence is typically death. Daisy flinched. But, Zane continued, that's for the council to decide. As for you, you're welcome to stay here as long as you need. You saved my mate's life. That earns you sanctuary in my territory. I can't go back to Crescent Falls, Daisy whispered. Can I? Not safely, no. Zane's jaw tightened. Your pack's leadership was complicit in the assassination attempt. Until we sort out who knew what, it's not safe for either of you there. So I'm homeless. Daisy's laugh was broken. The perfect daughter cast out. You're not homeless, Lily said firmly. You're with me. With us. And if you want, she looked at Zane again, silently asking permission. He nodded slightly. You can stay here. Permanently. Join this pack. Daisy's eyes widened. You do that? After everything. You're my sister. That doesn't change just because our parents are terrible people. Fresh tears spilled down Daisy's cheeks. I don't deserve. Yes, you do. Lily squeezed her hand. We both deserve better than what they gave us. So let's start over. Here. Together. For the first time since Lily had entered the room, Daisy smiled. It was small and fragile, but real. Okay, she whispered. Together. The rest of the day passed in a blur of preparation. The bonding ceremony was an ancient ritual requiring specific elements and precise timing. Lily found herself swept up in a whirlwind of tradition, learning the ceremonial phrases, being fitted for the Luna's ceremonial robes, receiving instruction from the pack elders about what the bond would feel like when it fully clicked into place. It's like dying and being reborn, one elderly woman explained, her eyes distant with memory. You'll feel your mate's soul merge with yours. His pain becomes your pain. His joy your joy. His life your life. And if something happens to him? Lily asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted the answer. The elder's expression grew somber. Then you feel it as if it's happening to you. That's the price of the Luna bond. You carry your mate's burdens as your own. Later, as the sun began to set, Kara found Lily in the armory. Shouldn't you be getting ready? The warrior asked, raising an eyebrow at Lily's choice of location. I am getting ready. Lily lifted the sword she'd been examining, a beautiful blade with a wolf's head pommel. I need to know I can protect him. Protect this pack. Being Luna isn't just about ceremonies and pretty dresses. Kara's expression shifted to something like respect. No, it's not. She moved to Lily's side, adjusting her grip on the sword. Your stance is still off. Drop your shoulder. Yes, like that. They worked in silence for a while, Kara correcting Lily's form, showing her techniques that could compensate for her still developing strength. Can I ask you something? Lily said finally. Depends on what it is. Do you think I can do this? Be Luna. Kara was quiet for a long moment. A week ago? I would have said no. You were too weak, too broken, too inexperienced. She met Lily's eyes. But you fought through wolfsbane poisoning, survived an assassination attempt, stood up to hostile alphas, and still chose to stay. So yeah, I think you can do this. Even with the prophecy? Even knowing I might destroy us all? Kara's smile was sharp. Or unite the packs and bring about a new era of peace. The prophecy goes both ways, remember. And I've seen how you handle power, Lily. You don't hoard it. You don't abuse it. You use it to protect the people you love. She paused, then added, that's what makes a good Luna. Not strength. Not perfection. Just the willingness to put your pack before yourself. The words settled something in Lily's chest. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Kara's grin widened. You've still got one more challenge before the ceremony. What challenge? The Luna's trial. It's tradition. The pack gets to test whether you're worthy. Seeing Lily's alarmed expression, Kara laughed. Relax. It's mostly symbolic. You'll face 3 challenges representing wisdom, courage, and compassion. Pass them and the pack accepts you as Luna. And if I fail? You won't. Kara clapped her on the shoulder. But even if you did, Zane would still complete the bond. The trial is for the pack's benefit, not his. An hour before moonrise, Lily stood in the center of the pack's ceremonial grounds, surrounded by hundreds of wolves. The Luna's trial. 3 challenges. 3 chances to prove herself. Zane stood at the edge of the circle, his face carefully neutral. But through the bond, Lily could feel his anxiety, his fear for her. She sent back a pulse of reassurance. I've got this. The first elder stepped forward, the same woman who'd explained the bond earlier. The first trial, she announced, her voice carrying across the silent gathering. Wisdom. You are presented with a choice, young Luna. 2 wolves stand accused of stealing from the pack stores. One is a mother, feeding her starving children. The other is a rogue, taking for personal gain. You have resources to help only one. Who do you choose? A classic moral dilemma. Lily's mind raced. The obvious answer was the mother. She had children to feed, a justifiable reason. But something about the question nagged at her. Why do the children starve? Lily asked. The elder blinked. What? If the mother must steal to feed her children, then the pack has failed her. Why? Lily looked around at the assembled wolves. Is she being ostracized? Is there a shortage of food? Has no one noticed her family suffering? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The question assumes I must choose, Lily continued. But the real problem isn't the stealing, it's whatever circumstance forced both wolves to that position. So my answer is this: I help them both. The mother gets food and support, so she never has to steal again. The rogue gets a second chance and an opportunity to earn their place in the pack properly. She lifted her chin. A good Luna doesn't choose between her pack members. She finds a way to help them all. Silence. Then the elder smiled. Wisdom is knowing when to break the rules. You pass. Relief flooded through her. One down. The second elder stepped forward, a scarred male with fierce eyes. The second trial. Courage. You face an enemy who has wronged your pack. They killed your wolves, destroyed your territory, and now they ask for mercy. Your mate demands their death. Your heart demands compassion. What do you do? Lily's breath caught. This wasn't hypothetical. This was about her parents. About the choice she'd face once they were tried. She thought about her father, bow aimed at her heart. Her mother's cold calculation. The warriors who died because of their conspiracy. She thought about Daisy, broken and traumatized. She thought about mercy and justice and the weight of leadership. I listen to my mate, Lily said finally. Because he's the Alpha King, and his judgment in matters of pack security is sound. But then I ask myself, what will this execution accomplish? Will it bring back the dead? Will it prevent future betrayals? She paused. If the answer is yes, if their death serves a greater purpose, then I support it. But if it's just vengeance, then I counsel mercy. Because true courage isn't killing your enemies. It's having the strength to break the cycle of violence. The scarred elder studied her for a long moment. And if your mate disagrees? Then we discuss it. We find compromise. Because we're partners, not tyrant and subject. Lily's voice strengthened. A Luna who can't challenge her alpha when necessary isn't a Luna, she's a decoration. Zane's presence in her mind flared with approval. The scarred elder grinned. Courage is speaking truth to power. You pass. 2 down. 1 to go. The third elder was youngest, a woman perhaps 10 years older than Lily, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. The final trial. Compassion. A member of your pack has betrayed you, sold your secrets to enemies, caused deaths. But they come to you now, broken and repentant, begging forgiveness. What do you do? Lily's mind immediately went to Counselor Mara, the woman who'd poisoned her, who'd conspired against her, who'd stood with their enemies, but who'd also looked genuinely conflicted at the Hollow Grounds, who might have been manipulated just like everyone else. I ask why, Lily said. Not to justify their actions, betrayal is betrayal, but to understand what drove them to it. Fear? Greed? Desperation? She took a breath. And then I ask myself, is this person beyond redemption? Are they truly sorry, or just sorry they got caught? And how do you tell the difference? The elder prompted. You look at their actions, not their words. Are they trying to make amends? Are they willing to face consequences? Do they take responsibility, or do they make excuses? Lily thought of Daisy, of the genuine horror in her sister's eyes. Compassion doesn't mean being soft. It means seeing people fully, the good and the bad, and deciding whether they deserve a second chance. And Counselor Mara, the elder, asked bluntly, "Does she deserve a second chance?" The crowd went silent, waiting. Lily closed her eyes, thinking. Mara had betrayed them, yes. But she'd also hesitated at crucial moments. Had looked torn. Had been following orders from alphas she'd been raised to respect. "I don't know yet," Lily admitted. "I need to talk to her. Understand her motivations. Hear her story." And then she opened her eyes. "Then I'll decide. But I won't make that decision alone. Because compassion without wisdom is foolishness. I'll counsel with my mate, with the pack, with people I trust. And together, we'll determine what justice looks like." The third elder smiled. "Compassion is balancing mercy with accountability. You pass." The crowd erupted. Wolves howled, celebrating her success. Lily's knees went weak with relief, but before she could collapse, Zane was there, catching her, holding her up. "You did it," he murmured against her hair. "Gods, Lily, you were perfect. I was terrified. You were magnificent." He pulled back, his golden eyes blazing with pride and love and something that made her breath catch. "Are you ready?" The moon was rising. Lily looked up at the silver disk breaking over the horizon, felt the pull of it in her bones, and smiled. "I'm ready." The bonding ceremony was held in the heart of the territory, where the oldest trees grew and ancient magic thrummed through the earth. Lily wore the ceremonial robes, white silk embroidered with silver wolves, a crown of moonflowers in her hair. Zane stood opposite her in his formal black, looking every inch the king he was. Between them, the pack elder, the kind-eyed woman from the third trial, raised her hands. "We gather under the full moon to witness the bonding of Alpha and Luna," she intoned. Zane, Alpha King of the Northern Territories, and Lily, chosen mate, and Luna. "Do you both come here of your own free will?" "I do," Zane said, his voice carrying across the gathered pack. "I do," Lily echoed. "Then speak your vows." Zane took her hands, and the world narrowed to just the two of them. "Lily, a week ago you came to me in chains, broken and betrayed. But I saw what you were then, what you've always been. Strong, brave, compassionate. Everything a Luna should be, everything I needed without knowing it." His thumbs brushed across her knuckles. "I vow to protect you, to stand beside you, to never let you face the darkness alone. I vow to trust your judgment, to honor your strength, to love you with everything I am. And I vow to be worthy of the gift you're giving me, your heart, your soul, your future." Tears pricked Lily's eyes. "Zane, you saved me. Not just from my pack, but from believing I was worthless. You saw value in me when no one else did. You gave me choices when I'd never had them. You made me believe I could be more than what I was." She squeezed his hands. "I vow to stand beside you as your equal, to challenge you when you're wrong, to support you when you're right. I vow to protect this pack with everything I have, to be the Luna they deserve, to make you proud. And I vow to love you with all my flaws, all my fears, all my heart for as long as we both live." The elder smiled. "Then by the power of the moon and the ancient laws of our kind, I bind you. Alpha to Luna, mate to mate, soul to soul." She placed their joined hands over a bowl of moonwater. "Drink and be one." They drank. The world exploded. Lily gasped as the bond, which had been a thread, a connection, suddenly became a torrent. Zane's presence flooded her mind, his emotions, his memories, his very essence merging with hers. She felt his love like a physical force, his fear for her safety, his pride in her strength, his absolute certainty that they were meant for this. And underneath it all, his wolf, ancient and powerful, reaching out to hers. "Mine," it growled. "Ours. Forever." Lily's wolf responded with a howl of pure joy, and suddenly she was shifting, her white fur gleaming in the moonlight. Beside her, Zane shifted too, and their wolves touched noses, then sides, then circling each other in a dance as old as time. The pack howled in celebration. When they finally shifted back, Lily found herself in Zane's arms, both of them laughing and crying and kissing like they'd never stop. "I love you," Zane said against her mouth. "I love you too," Lily gasped. Around them, the pack celebrated. Music started, food appeared, and soon the ceremonial grounds transformed into a festival of joy and life. But Lily barely noticed. She was too focused on the bond singing between them, on the absolute rightness of being in Zane's arms, on the future stretching out before them. A future she'd fight for. A future she'd protect. A future that was finally hers. They did it. They're bonded. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how perfect those vows were? And Lily passing all 3 trials? Iconic. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment from the ceremony. The celebration lasted until dawn. Lily had never experienced anything like it. The pack's joy was infectious, their acceptance of her genuine. Wolves who'd been wary just days ago now approached with smiles and congratulations. Young pups tugged at her robes, asking if she'd teach them to be brave like her. Elders shared stories of past Lunas, welcoming her into a legacy that stretched back centuries. But beneath the celebration, tension simmered. Everyone knew what came next. The trial of her parents. The reckoning with Silverstone and the rebellious Alphas. The question of whether Lily was truly the Luna of prophecy and what that meant for all of them. As the sun rose, Zane pulled Lily away from the festivities, leading her to a quiet overlook where they could watch the territory wake. "How do you feel?" he asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Lily leaned back against his chest, marveling at how natural it felt now. The bond hummed between them, warm and constant. Different. Like I can feel the whole pack now, not just you. That's the Luna bond. You're connected to them all, their hopes, their fears, their loyalty. Zane's lips brushed her temple. "It can be overwhelming at first." "It's beautiful," Lily whispered. And it was. She could sense hundreds of lives pulsing through the territory, the warriors preparing for morning drills, the mothers waking their children, the elderly gathering for their daily council. All of them were hers now, to protect and guide and serve. The weight of it was staggering. "We need to deal with the prisoners," Zane said quietly. "The council wants to hold the trials today. Your parents, Mara, the few conspirators we captured. They want justice." Lily's stomach clenched. "So soon? The pack needs closure. And we need to send a message. Betrayal has consequences." He turned her to face him. "But Lily, you don't have to be there. As Luna, you have the right to abstain from judgment when it involves family." "No," Lily straightened her shoulders. "I need to face them. Need to hear what they have to say." She met his eyes. "And I need to decide if I can forgive them. Forgiveness and justice aren't the same thing." "I know." Lily's voice was steady despite the tears threatening to fall. "But I need to try. For my own peace, if nothing else." The trial was held in the pack's judgment hall, a circular stone chamber with no roof, open to the sky so the gods could witness the proceedings. The council sat in a semicircle, with Zane at the center and Lily at his right hand. The prisoners were brought in one by one. First, the minor conspirators, warriors who'd fed information to Silverstone, pack members who'd accepted bribes to cause chaos. Their punishments were swift: exile for some, demotion and probation for others. Zane showed mercy to those who'd been coerced or manipulated, but none to those who'd acted out of greed. Then came Counselor Mara. The older woman looked diminished in chains, her proud bearing crumpled. But when her eyes met Lily's, there was no plea for mercy. Only resignation. "Counselor Mara," Zane's voice echoed through the hall. "You stand accused of conspiracy, poisoning a pack member, and treason against your alpha. How do you plead?" "Guilty," Mara said simply. "To all of it." Murmurs rippled through the gathered wolves. "Why?" Lily asked, leaning forward. "Why betray us?" Mara's laugh was bitter. "Because I was afraid. The prophecy, When I first heard it 20 years ago, I was serving in the Oracle's temple. I saw what she saw. A Luna who would reshape our world, who would break every tradition we hold dear, who would either save us or doom us. Her eyes locked on Lily. And I was terrified that we'd choose wrong. So you tried to stop it, Lily said. I tried to control it. Mara's voice cracked. I thought if I could guide events, manipulate circumstances, I could ensure the prophecy unfolded safely. I helped your parents suppress your wolf. I connected Silverstone with the other dissenting alphas. I thought I was protecting our way of life. You were protecting your power, Zane said coldly. Yes, Mara admitted. That too. I won't pretend I'm noble. I liked being the Alpha King's most trusted counselor. I liked having influence. And the thought of a young, inexperienced Luna disrupting everything, she shook her head. I convinced myself I was doing the right thing. And now? Lily asked quietly. Mara met her eyes. Now I see I was wrong. You're not the destruction I feared. She paused, then continued softly. You're exactly the Luna we need. Strong enough to challenge tradition, compassionate enough to show mercy, brave enough to face the darkness. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I'm sorry, Luna. Truly. Silence filled the hall. The council looked to Lily, waiting for her judgment. She could feel Zane's presence in her mind, offering support but not influencing her decision. This was her choice to make. Lily thought about mercy and justice, about cycles of violence and the cost of vengeance. Counselor Mara, she said finally, you're guilty. That's not in question. But I also believe your remorse is genuine. She stood, and the hall fell completely silent. My sentence is this: exile from the inner circle. You'll be stripped of your counselor position and sent to serve in the border territories for 5 years. If you survive and prove your loyalty, you may petition to return. Mara's eyes widened. You're not executing me? I'm giving you a chance to earn redemption, Lily corrected. Whether you take it is up to you. Some council members looked pleased. Others looked skeptical. But Zane's approval flooded through the bond, warming her from the inside out. The Luna has spoken, Zane declared. So, let it be done. As Mara was led away, Lily steeled herself for what came next. Her parents. They were brought in together, Marcus still bearing the wounds from his fight with Zane, Helena looking pale but defiant. Neither of them would meet Lily's eyes. Marcus and Helena of Crescent Falls, Zane's voice was ice. You stand accused of conspiracy to commit murder, treason, attempted assassination of a Luna, suppression of a wolf through illegal magic, and abuse of pack authority. How do you plead? Not guilty, Marcus said immediately. Every wolf in the hall growled in disbelief. Lily's hands clenched into fists. You shot your own daughter, Kara snarled from her position near the council. We all saw it. I was defending our way of life, Marcus said, finally looking up. His eyes were hard, unrepentant. The prophecy is clear. She's a threat to everything we've built. Would you have us sit back and wait for destruction? You don't get to decide that, Zane said, his voice dropping to something deadly. You don't get to play God with your daughter's life. She was never really my daughter. The words dropped like stones. Helena finally spoke, her voice empty. The Oracle told us what she'd become. We tried to love her anyway, but she shook her head. She was the monster waiting to destroy us all. Lily felt like she'd been stabbed. She was never really my daughter. All the years of feeling invisible, of being treated as lesser, it had been deliberate. They'd looked at her and seen a prophecy, not a person. A threat, not a child. You're wrong, Lily said, her voice shaking. She stood, and the bond amplified her presence until she felt 10 feet tall. I'm not a monster. I'm not a threat. I'm your daughter, and you threw me away because you were too afraid to love me. Love. Marcus laughed harshly. What is love compared to the safety of thousands? You're young, naive. You don't understand what's at stake. I understand perfectly, Lily said. You're cowards. Both of you. You were given a daughter with incredible potential, and instead of nurturing it, you crushed it. Instead of trusting me, you betrayed me. And now you stand here and act like you're the victims. She moved closer to the prisoners, her wolf rising to the surface. You were never my parents. Parents protect their children. Parents choose their children. You chose fear. You chose power. You chose wrong. Helena's mask finally cracked. Lily, please. Don't. Lily's voice was sharp as broken glass. Don't pretend you care now. Don't pretend you did this for me. You did it for yourselves. She turned to the council. My judgment is death. They've proven they'll never stop trying to eliminate me, and I won't risk this pack's safety or my sister's safety by showing mercy they don't deserve. The council rumbled approval. But Marcus wasn't done. You think you've won? He was laughing now, a horrible, broken sound. You think stopping us stops the prophecy? The real test hasn't even begun, little Luna. Wait until you face what's coming. Wait until you have to choose between saving your pack and saving the world. What are you talking about? Zane demanded. But Marcus just smiled. Silverstone isn't the real threat. He's just the distraction. The true enemy, the one who's been pulling all our strings, they're already here. Already inside your precious pack. And when they make their move. He collapsed. Lily rushed forward on instinct, but there was nothing to be done. Marcus convulsed once, twice, then went still. Blood trickled from his nose and ears. Poison, Kara confirmed grimly. Same as the rogues. He had a trigger tooth. Who? Zane roared. Who is the real enemy? But Marcus was dead, taking his secrets with him. Helena screamed a raw, animal sound of grief. Then she looked at Lily with pure hatred. This is your fault, she hissed. All of it. If you'd just died like you were supposed to. Take her to the cells, Zane ordered. We'll continue her trial once we have answers. As Helena was dragged away, still screaming curses, Lily sank back into her chair. The hall erupted in chaos, council members demanding answers, warriors calling for immediate action, wolves panicking about hidden enemies. Through it all, Lily felt the bond steadying her. Zane's hand found hers under the table, squeezing tightly. We'll figure this out, his voice whispered through the bond. Together. But Lily couldn't shake Marcus's words. The true enemy, they're already here. The investigation began immediately. Zane mobilized his best trackers, interrogators, and strategists. Every wolf who'd had contact with Marcus or Silverstone was questioned. Every secret meeting, every suspicious behavior, every possible lead was pursued with ruthless efficiency. But they found nothing. Whoever was pulling the strings had covered their tracks perfectly. 2 days after the trial, Lily stood in Zane's study, staring at maps and reports that offered no answers. Exhaustion pulled at her. She'd barely slept since the bonding, the weight of her new responsibilities crushing. You need to rest, Kara said from the doorway. I need to find the traitor, Lily corrected. You need to rest so you don't collapse, Kara countered. She moved into the room, her expression softer than usual. Luna, you've been running on fumes for days. Your wolf needs recovery time. Your body needs sleep. You can't protect the pack if you're dead on your feet. Lily knew she was right. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw Marcus's smiling face as he warned of what was coming. How do we fight an enemy we can't identify? She asked quietly. The same way we've fought everything else, Kara said. Together. With trust and strength and refusal to give up. She paused. Your sister has been asking for you. Lily's head snapped up. Daisy? She says she remembers something. Something Marcus said during one of his meetings. Kara's eyes gleamed. Might be nothing. Might be everything. Hope flared in Lily's chest. She followed Kara to the healing ward, where Daisy sat up in bed, looking nervous but determined. Lily, Daisy said as soon as she entered. I remembered something. About 6 months ago, Father had a meeting with someone. I wasn't supposed to hear, but I was in the garden below his study, and the window was open. Who was he meeting with? Lily asked urgently. I don't know. I never saw them. But I heard Father call them Elder. Daisy's brow furrowed. He said, Elder, The timeline is accelerating. The Luna candidate is showing signs of emergence despite the suppression. What should we do? And the voice, it was strange, Lily. Distorted somehow. But they said, let events unfold naturally. When she arrives at the Alpha King's territory, we'll have her exactly where we need her. Ice flooded Lily's veins. They wanted me to come here? It sounds like they've been orchestrating everything, Kara said grimly. Your suppression. Your sacrifice. Maybe even the assassination attempts. But why? Lily's mind raced. What's the end goal? The prophecy, Daisy said quietly. They kept talking about the prophecy. About how the Luna had to be in position for the great unmaking. She looked at Lily with fear in her eyes. What if they're not trying to stop the prophecy? What if they're trying to fulfill it, the destructive version of it? The room went silent as the implications sank in. They're trying to turn me into the weapon, Lily whispered. They're trying to make me destroy the packs. Not if we stop them first, Zane's voice came from the doorway. He entered quickly, his face set in grim determination. Daisy, this elder, anything else you remember? An accent? A phrase? Anything? Daisy closed her eyes, concentrating. They said something about the cycle completing at the solstice. And Father asked if the vessel would be ready, and the elder said, she's been ready since birth. We just needed her broken enough to accept her fate. Lily's wolf snarled in her mind. They wanted me broken. They wanted me vulnerable. The solstice, Zane said sharply. That's 3 days from now. 3 days until what? Kara demanded. But Lily already knew. She could feel it in her bones, in the way the bond trembled, in the sudden pressure building behind her eyes. 3 days until they try to trigger the prophecy, she said. Until they try to make me into the destruction they've been planning all along. Zane crossed to her immediately, his hands framing her face. That's not going to happen. You don't know that. I do. His golden eyes burned into hers. Because you're stronger than they are. Stronger than the prophecy. Stronger than whatever they've planned. He pressed his forehead to hers. And you're not alone. You have me. You have this pack. We'll face this together. Together, Lily echoed, drawing strength from the bond. A howl cut through the air, long and urgent. The border alarm. Zane's head snapped toward the window. They're here. Who? But even as Lily asked, she knew. Everyone. Zane's voice was grim. Silverstone. The rebellious alphas. And whoever's been orchestrating this. They're making their final move. The door burst open. A young warrior, panting and bloody, stumbled in. Alpha King, they've surrounded us. Every border, every access point. At least 1,000 wolves, maybe more. The warrior's eyes were wide with fear. And they're demanding the Luna. Lily's blood ran cold. Tell them no, Zane snarled. They said if we don't surrender her by sundown, they'll attack. They'll slaughter everyone. The warrior looked at Lily, apology in his eyes. They said it's her choice, come willingly and save the pack, or force them to take her over our dead bodies. The ultimatum hung in the air. Lily felt every eye in the room turn to her. Waiting. Watching. She thought about the pack, the warriors who'd fought beside her, the pups who'd tugged on her robes, the elders who'd welcomed her. She thought about Daisy, still healing. About Kara, who'd trained her. About Zane, who'd given her everything. She thought about the prophecy and the choice that had always been coming. Unite or destroy. Save or sacrifice. Choose. I'll go, Lily said. Like hell you will, Zane and Kara said simultaneously. It's the only way. It's what they want. Zane grabbed her shoulders. Don't you see? This is their plan. Get you to surrender willingly, to walk into whatever trap they've set. If you go out there, you're playing right into their hands. And if I don't, everyone dies. Lily's voice rose. I can't let that happen. I won't. Then we fight, Zane said fiercely. We defend our territory, we protect our Luna, and we show them that threatening this pack was the last mistake they'll ever make. We're outnumbered 10-1, the warrior said quietly. Then we make sure every one of our wolves counts for 10 of theirs. Zane's alpha command rolled through the room, making everyone stand straighter. Mobilize the warriors. Fortify the barriers. Evacuate the pups and elderly to the deep dens. We're going to war. As wolves scrambled to obey, Lily felt the bond stretching between them, Zane's determination, his fear for her, his absolute refusal to let her sacrifice herself. But she also felt something else. A pull. A wrongness. The prophecy stirring, reaching for her, trying to drag her toward a destiny she didn't want. Choose, a voice whispered in her mind, not Zane's, not her wolf's, but something older. Choose now, Luna. Save them or doom them. There is no third option. There's always a third option, Lily whispered. She closed her eyes and reached deep, past her wolf, past the bond, into the place where her power lived. The place that had been suppressed for so long. And she pulled. Power exploded through her, silver and white and blazing like the full moon. It poured through the bond, amplifying Zane's strength. It rippled out across the territory, touching every member of the pack, filling them with courage and determination. When Lily opened her eyes, they were glowing pure silver. I'm not surrendering, she said, her voice resonating with Luna command. And I'm not letting them destroy this pack. I'm going out there, but not as their victim. She looked at Zane, and, through the bond, showed him what she planned. His eyes widened. That's insane. It's our only chance. Lily smiled. Trust me? Zane stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled back, fierce and proud and full of love. Always. Sundown arrived like a blade. Lily stood at the main gates of the territory, Zane at her right side, Kara at her left. Behind them, the entire pack had assembled, warriors in formation, elders standing proud, even the newly healed forming a protective wall. And beside Lily, wearing borrowed armor and a determined expression, stood Daisy. You don't have to do this, Lily had told her sister earlier. Yes, I do, Daisy had replied, her voice steady despite her fear. You stood up for me. Now I stand with you. Beyond the gates, the enemy waited. 1,000 wolves, maybe more, spread across the clearing like a dark tide. At their head stood Alpha Silverstone, flanked by the rebellious alphas who'd gathered at the hollow grounds. And behind them, arranged in perfect military formation, were rogues, but these weren't the mindless, savage creatures of legend. These moved with discipline, with purpose. Someone had trained them, organized them. The Elder, Lily thought. Whoever they are, they've been building an army. This is your last chance, Alpha King. Silverstone's voice carried across the distance. Send out the Luna, and we'll leave peacefully. Keep her, and we paint this territory red. The Luna stays, Zane's voice thundered back. And if you want her, you'll have to go through every single one of us. The pack held in agreement, the sound primal and defiant. Silverstone's smile was cold. So be it. He raised his hand. And Lily stepped forward. Wait. Her voice, amplified by Luna command, froze everyone in place. She walked through the gates, ignoring Zane's growl of protest through the bond. I'll come. But first, I want to meet the coward who's been hiding behind puppets and poison. Silence. Show yourself. Lily's power flared, silver light crackling around her. You've been orchestrating this from the shadows. You used my parents, manipulated Silverstone, sent rogues to die for your cause. But you've never had the courage to face me directly. She spread her arms. I'm here now. So come out and tell me why you want me dead so badly. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the enemy ranks parted. A figure emerged from the back, small, hooded, moving with eerie grace. As they walked forward, the hood fell back, revealing an old woman. Ancient, by the look of her, with skin like parchment and eyes that glowed with an unnatural silver light. But it wasn't her appearance that made Lily's blood run cold. It was her scent. Pack. This woman was Pack. No, she was Oracle. You, Lily breathed. You're the Elder. You're the one behind everything. The old woman smiled, and it was like watching a corpse grin. Not quite, child. I'm simply the voice of something far older. Her eyes fixed on Lily. I am the oracle, yes. But I am also the keeper of the prophecy. And you, her voice resonated with power, are the fulfillment. The oracle? Zane's voice was confused. The oracle serves the packs, protects them. The oracle serves balance, the woman corrected. And your world has been out of balance for far too long. Too many packs, too much conflict, too many alphas fighting for scraps of power. She gestured to the assembled forces. The prophecy was never about choosing between unity and destruction. It was about using destruction to achieve unity. Lily's stomach dropped. You want me to destroy the packs? I want you to remake them. The oracle's eyes blazed. You have the power, child. I've been cultivating it since before you were born. Your parents suppressing your wolf? That was my design. Pain makes power stronger. Betrayal makes wolves desperate. And desperation, she smiled, makes them willing to do anything, including wiping out entire packs. Lily's voice shook with rage. Including creating a new order. The oracle's voice rose. Don't you see? The old ways are dying. The constant wars, the territorial disputes, the senseless violence, it has to end. And you, Luna, are the catalyst. She raised her hands. At the solstice, which begins in moments, your power will reach its peak. The bond between you and the Alpha King will create a conduit. Through you, I can channel enough energy to erase every pack structure, every alpha bloodline, every tradition that keeps us divided. And replace it with what? Zane demanded. With unity under my guidance. The oracle's smile was beatific. A world where all wolves answer to one power. Where conflicts are resolved by wisdom, not warfare. Where the prophecy is fulfilled, her eyes locked on Lily. Through you. I'll never help you, Lily said. You don't have a choice. The oracle's voice dropped to something ancient and cold. The prophecy is already in motion. Your bond with the Alpha King, your awakened power, the solstice moon rising, all the pieces are in place. You can either embrace your destiny willingly, or I'll force it upon you. She gestured, and the army behind her tensed. Choose now. Come with me peacefully, or watch everyone you love die. Lily felt the weight of 1,000 eyes on her. Through the bond, she felt Zane's absolute refusal to let her go, felt his determination to fight to his last breath. But she also felt the pack, every wolf connected to her through the Luna bond. She felt their fear, their courage, their trust in her to make the right choice. Choose, the voice whispered again. Choose, Luna. Lily took a breath and smiled. You made one critical mistake, she said. The oracle's expression flickered. Oh, you assumed the prophecy could only be fulfilled your way. Lily's power began to rise, silver light building around her. You assumed I'd be the weapon, the tool, the catalyst for your vision of unity. I assumed correctly, the oracle said, though her voice held the first hint of uncertainty. The magic is already. You're right that I'm powerful, Lily interrupted. You're right that the bond amplifies that power. You're right that tonight, at the solstice, I'll reach my peak. Her eyes blazed silver white. But you forgot something crucial. You forgot that prophecies aren't instructions. They're possibilities. She turned to face the assembled wolves, both her pack and the enemy forces. All of you, she called out, her voice carrying across the clearing. You've been told I'm a threat. That I'll destroy the packs. That I'm the catalyst for war. She let her power flow freely now, the silver light painting everything in moonfire. But I'm not your enemy. I'm just a wolf who was betrayed, broken, and somehow survived. I'm just a Luna who loves her mate and her pack. I'm just a daughter who learned that family isn't blood, it's choice. She could feel them listening. Not just her pack, but the enemy forces too. Even the rogues seemed transfixed. The oracle is right about one thing, Lily continued. Our world is broken. The constant fighting, the territorial wars, the way we treat each other, it has to change. but not through destruction. Through choice. She looked at Silverstone. You wanted to overthrow Zane because you thought he had too much power. But what have you done? You've allied with rogues, conspired with traitors, threatened innocents. How is that better? Silverstone's expression flickered with something that might have been shame. And you, Lily turned to the other alphas. You've been manipulated. Used as pawns in someone else's game. The Oracle played on your fears, your ambitions, your desire for change. But she didn't want to free you. She wanted to control you. Murmurs rippled through the enemy ranks. I won't destroy the packs, Lily said firmly. But I will change them. I will fight for a world where power isn't hoarded by the strong. Where betrayal isn't the price of survival. Where wolves can choose their own destinies instead of being trapped by prophecy and tradition. The Oracle laughed. Pretty words, child. But words won't stop what's coming. The solstice is here. The magic is rising. You can't. I can. Lily reached for Zane through the bond. Because I'm not alone. Zane's hand found hers, and power exploded between them, not destructive, but creative. The bond, which the Oracle had intended to use as a conduit for devastation, became something else entirely. It became a bridge. Lily felt her power flow through the bond, through Zane, and out into the pack. But it didn't stop there. It reached beyond the territory, touching every wolf present, enemy and ally alike. She felt their hearts, their fears, their hopes. And she showed them something different. A vision. Not of destruction, but of possibility. She showed them packs working together, sharing resources instead of fighting over them. She showed them councils where alphas collaborated instead of competed. She showed them wolves choosing their own paths, their own mates, their own destinies, free from the weight of prophecy and tradition. She showed them unity without subjugation, peace without surrender, change without destruction. The vision rippled out like a wave, touching every wolf in the clearing. And in that moment, Lily felt something shift. The prophecy, which had been a weight around her neck, suddenly became something else. A choice. Not her choice to make for everyone, but everyone's choice to make for themselves. No. The Oracle's scream shattered the vision. You're ruining everything. The prophecy must be fulfilled. It is being fulfilled, Lily said quietly. Just not the way you wanted. The Oracle raised her hands, silver light crackling around them. Then I'll take what I need by force. She struck. Power slammed into Lily like a physical blow, trying to tear through her defenses, trying to seize control of the bond. The Oracle was ancient, skilled, channeling magic that predated the packs themselves. But Lily wasn't alone. Zane's strength poured into her. Kara's loyalty. Daisy's love. Every member of her pack, adding their power to hers through the Luna bond. And more. To her shock, she felt other wolves joining enemy wolves, breaking away from the Oracle's control. Silverstone's power, grudging but real. Some of the rebellious alphas, choosing Lily's vision over the Oracle's tyranny. Even some of the rogues, drawn by the promise of belonging. The tide of power reversed. Lily caught the Oracle's attack and sent it back, amplified by hundreds of wolves choosing unity over destruction. The old woman staggered, disbelief written across her face. Impossible, she breathed. The prophecy is about choice, Lily finished. And we're choosing something better. The Oracle tried to strike again, but her power was fading. Without fear and division to feed it, the ancient magic couldn't sustain itself. You've doomed them all, the Oracle spat. Without my guidance, the packs will tear themselves apart. Maybe, Lily acknowledged. Or maybe they'll surprise you. Maybe they'll find a way to build something new. Something better. She stepped closer. Either way, it's their choice to make. Not yours. Not mine. Theirs. The silver light faded from the Oracle's eyes. She looked suddenly small, old, tired. I was trying to save them, she whispered. I know, Lily said gently. But you can't save people by taking away their ability to choose. The Oracle crumpled. Wolves moved forward to catch her, to take her into custody. but Lily felt no triumph. Only sadness for a wolf who'd become so consumed by prophecy that she'd forgotten what really mattered. Choice. Love. Trust. The enemy forces stood uncertain, waiting. Silverstone stepped forward, and for a moment, Lily tensed. But the massive alpha simply bowed his head. "You were right, Luna," he said quietly. "I let fear and ambition blind me. I thought overthrowing the Alpha King would bring change, but," he looked at Lily, "you've shown us a different path. One I'd like to walk, if you'll allow it." "No more conspiracies?" Lily asked. "No more conspiracies," Silverstone agreed. "Just wolves trying to do better." One by one, the other alphas came forward. Some bowed. Some apologized. Some simply stood there, processing everything that had happened. The army that had come to destroy them was falling apart, not into violence, but into possibility. "What happens now?" Kara asked, appearing at Lily's side. Lily looked at Zane. Through the bond, she felt his pride, his love, his absolute certainty that they could handle whatever came next. "Now," Lily said, "we build something new. Together." The next few weeks were a blur of change. Lily and Zane worked with the other alphas to establish a new council, one where power was shared, where decisions were made collectively, where even the smallest packs had a voice. It wasn't perfect. There were arguments, setbacks, wolves who resisted change. But it was progress. Silverstone became one of their strongest allies, using his influence to bring other hesitant alphas into the fold. The rogues were given the choice to join established packs or form their own, with support and resources to help them integrate. Counselor Mara, true to her word, served her exile in the border territories and sent regular reports. She was working to build bridges with neighboring packs, using the same manipulative skills she'd once used for destruction to now create unity. Helena was tried and exiled to a distant territory, forbidden from ever returning. Without Marcus, she seemed diminished, broken. Lily felt pity for her mother, but no desire to rebuild their relationship. Some bridges were too burned to repair. Daisy stayed. She integrated into the pack, finding her own place not as a Luna candidate, but as a healer. Her gentle nature and genuine compassion made her beloved among the pack members, especially the young pups. And Lily. Lily found her place as Luna. It wasn't always easy. Some wolves still feared her power, still whispered about the prophecy. But with Zane at her side, with Kara training her and Daisy supporting her and an entire pack believing in her, she learned. She learned to lead with wisdom and compassion. She learned to use her power to protect, not destroy. She learned that being Luna wasn't about being perfect, it was about showing up every day and choosing to do better. 6 months after the solstice, Lily stood on the same overlook where Zane had taken her the morning after their bonding ceremony. The territory spread out before her, peaceful and thriving. "What are you thinking about?" Zane asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "The prophecy," Lily admitted. "The oracle was wrong about a lot of things, but she was right that I changed the world. Just not through destruction." "You changed it through choice," Zane said. "By showing everyone that we don't have to be what prophecy says we are. We can be what we choose to be." "And what did I choose?" Lily asked, leaning back against him. "You chose love over fear, unity over division, hope over despair." He pressed a kiss to her temple. "You chose to be exactly who you are, the strongest, bravest, most compassionate Luna I've ever known." "Sweet talker," Lily teased, but her heart swelled. "It's true." Zane turned her to face him, his golden eyes soft with love. "You were never the destruction the prophecy warned about. You were always the hope it promised." Lily rose on her toes to kiss him, pouring everything she felt through the bond. When they broke apart, both breathless, she smiled. "I have something to tell you," she said. "Oh, I'm pregnant." Zane went perfectly still. "You're pregnant." "About 6 weeks along, according to the pack healer." Lily watched his face carefully. "I know it's soon, and things are still settling, but..." She didn't get to finish. Zane lifted her off her feet, spinning her around with a whoop of pure joy. When he set her down, his eyes were wet. "A pup," he breathed. "We're having a pup." "We are," Lily confirmed, laughing through her own tears. "Are you happy?" "Happy?" Zane cupped her face in his hands. "Lily, there aren't words. You've given me everything. My mate. My Luna. And now," his voice broke. "Now a family." They stood there together as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Around them, the territory hummed with life, their pack, their home, their future. Lily had come to this territory in chains, broken and betrayed. She was leaving behind the girl she'd been, the sacrifice, the victim, the weapon everyone wanted her to become. In her place stood a Luna, a leader, a wolf who'd faced prophecy and chosen her own path. And as she felt the tiny spark of new life growing inside her, Lily knew with absolute certainty. The best was yet to come. Epilogue. 5 years later, a white-haired girl with golden eyes played in the gardens of the Alpha King's territory. Her younger brother, dark-haired and silver-eyed, chased after her, both of them laughing as their parents watched from the terrace. "They're going to be trouble," Zane observed, but his voice was full of pride. "They're going to be magnificent," Lily corrected. She was pregnant again, just starting to show, and Zane's hand rested protectively on her stomach. "Like their mother," Zane murmured. In the distance, the new council building was under construction, a massive structure where alphas from all the territories would gather to make decisions together. It was Lily's design, a symbol of the unity they'd fought so hard to build. The prophecy had been fulfilled, in the end. Just not the way anyone expected. Lily hadn't destroyed the packs, she'd transformed them. She hadn't brought war, she'd brought change. And while the world wasn't perfect, while there were still challenges and setbacks and wolves who resisted progress, it was better. So much better. "Mama!" Their daughter ran up to them, her little face flushed with excitement. "Aunt Daisy said she'd teach me healing magic. Can I go to the ward with her?" "After lunch," Lily said, brushing hair from her daughter's face. "And only if you promise to behave." "I always behave," the girl said solemnly, then ruined it by giggling. As their children ran back to play, Lily felt the bond hum with contentment. This was everything she'd never dared to dream of: a family, a home, a purpose. Love without chains. Power without fear. A future without limits. "Thank you," Lily whispered to Zane. "For what?" "For seeing me when no one else did. For choosing me when everyone said I was broken. For showing me that I was never the sacrifice," she smiled. "I was always the Luna." Zane pulled her close, and through the bond, she felt his love, absolute and unwavering. "You were always magnificent," he said. "I just helped you see it." And as the sun set over their territory, casting everything in golden light, Lily finally understood. Her parents had tried to sacrifice her to save her sister. But in the end, she'd saved herself. And in doing so, she'd saved them all. Oh my goodness, we did it. From chains to crown, from sacrifice to Luna, Lily's journey has been everything. Can we talk about that ending? The babies, the new council, the healing and growth. Drop a comment and tell me your favorite moment from this entire story. Was it when Zane first claimed her? When Daisy stood up for her? The battle at the solstice? I want to hear all your thoughts. And if this story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have so many more emotional, addictive werewolf romance stories coming your way, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for going on this journey with Lily and Zane. You all are the best audience, and I can't wait to bring you the next story. Until next time, stay wild, stay strong, and remember, you're never the sacrifice. You're always the Luna. See you in the next one.